to the boardroom, pull up a chair. Big facts, big laughs, all of us here. Culture in the convo, truth on the track. We say what you think, we don't hold back, nah. It's Kick It in Company, talk that real. My city, my music, that hometown feel. Culture, community, common sense talk. If you here for the noise, better change that dial. It's Kick It in Company, say what we mean. Cut through the static, keep the focus clean. Lean in close, we gon' break that fence. Culture, community, common sense. Turn the mic up, let the people speak. Street wisdom, mixing with the work week. From kitchen table truth to city hall plans, we build more bridges than these hashtags can. Kick It in Company, talk that real. My city, my music, that hometown feel. Culture, community, common sense talk. If you here for the noise, better change that dial. Kick It in Company, say what we mean. Cut through the static, keep the focus clean. Lean in close, we gon' break that fence. Culture, community, common sense. Turn the mic up, let the people speak. Street wisdom, mixing with the work week. From kitchen table truth to city hall plans, we build more bridges than these hashtags can. Kick It in Company, talk that real. My city, my music, that hometown feel. Culture, community, common sense talk. If you here for the noise, better change that dial. Kick It in Company, say what we mean. Cut through the static, keep the focus clean. Lean in close, we gon' break that fence. Culture, community, common sense. Turn the mic up. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard that theme music. Woo! Welcome to the greatest show ever. Well, besides Elliot has a pretty cool show too. But yeah, we're doing great here. It's Saturday in beautiful city of St. Louis. Whoa, oh man. Whew. Got me all fired up over here. We got some hot topics. Someone's got to put that cape on. Who's putting that cape on today? Who is going to save our city? Where do we start? Man, I don't want to know. But anyway, whoo, my name's Justin. Welcome to the show. Across from me, we have the one and only
Elliot Davis.
Yeah, he is. Over there.
Maria Chappelle Nadal.
Come on, bring it in. Where you at?
Victoria Turner from
Yes,
the
she
League of
is.
Women Voters. Kathleen Farrell from the League of Women Voters.
Yeah, there we go. And that guy. Yes, sirree. So we're gonna we've joined into a here you got one of these. We have a big day coming up Tuesday. Well, they already started it, of course, so preliminary, but we got some elections coming up in our city / county / state / district / wherever they're slashing, but
Tuesday.
We're gonna
That's Superpower Day Tuesday.
Gone with the wind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it up here on the big screen, but we're gonna jump right into it. First, we're gonna make our way around the square table. Is that what it's called?
That's
Rectangle. It's not rectangular. Right, it's not square, but yeah, we're gonna jump into it. We're gonna see as many as we can tackle in these hours, from importance to us to the rest of them, whatever we got. We're gonna start with Mr. Davis over there.
All right.
Welcome to the table.
Yes, sir.
You're going to call it the table today, huh?
Okay,
Table.
that works.
It's always the table.
We can do that.
The table. 8 foot. Yeah. So what's your you're pretty involved with the city / county, of course, and what do you think? What's your main focus on as far as Tuesday coming up? What is your in your heart? What do you think is
in my heart of
important to
hearts? I think the race for Congress is
too.
the most important race because it has national implications. The race between Wesley Bell and Cori Bush, and so Cori Bush has been endorsed by the Democratic Socialists of America, and so the socialists have had kind of a wave going across the United States. I think there's even a socialist that may win the Democratic nomination for governor of Wisconsin. There have been at least 3 socialist candidates in New York City that follows Zoran Mondani.
Could you break that down, socialist, for people who don't understand that, Elliot? Break that down for people who don't understand that, because they don't understand the difference between a socialist and a regular
Democrat?
Democrat.
Most of it is that the government controls more of your daily life. Like industry, healthcare, anything you can think of. It's more that the government controls it, as opposed to relying on the citizens to be able to control their own destiny. And so we've seen a lot of socialist countries. Cuba is one. Venezuela is another. So we've seen a number of socialist countries, and many of them have gone down the tubes. Once you get government control of everything, and obviously government does not always make the best decisions.
Most
So
definitely.
it's a matter of whether you want government to control your destiny or not, or like a democracy, it's more in the hands, and capitalism, it's more about individualism, individual achievements, and democracy, more about you having more rights. Socialism takes those rights away, puts it in the hands of government, and the theory is that government knows more and can make better decisions.
You just used the right
than you
word,
can.
the theory.
But what I want to do is I want
The
to get
theory.
into this race. So we've seen a socialist wave across the United States.
Okay.
And this has been the most socialist candidates winning election probably in the history of the United States. And so we have a possibility of 5 socialist candidates being in Congress. If this continues, the socialists will be able to influence national policy. What things do they want? Well, for one of their main issues between Cory Bush and Wesley Bell is over Israel. Cory Bush does not favor giving Israel money for its defense. So she is in favor of cutting off.
Smart.
No, I don't think so. I disagree.
You think so?
But anyway, we won't get into my agreements and
okay.
disagreements. But I think that Israel is a major ally of the United States. It's a major voice in the Middle East. If we are going to be involved in the Middle East, we have to have somebody we can count on. We've been able to count on Israel.
Okay. If you're going to put it like that.
Throughout history. And plus, I'm a Christian. And the Jews and Israel are God's people. I'm not going to go down that road.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. They're God's people, and it talks about if you read the Bible, and you can read it throughout the Bible, and the Jews are the people that God loves. God loves Israel as well. So most Christians, I think, have an affinity for Israel. When I die and I go to heaven and I'm standing in front of Jesus, I want him to say, well done, good and faithful servants. And one of the things you did was stand up for Israel. Anyway, that's my view. Cory Bush is against military aid for Israel. She wants to cut out. Wesley Bell, though, favors giving aid to Israel for giving military aid to Israel. So that's a big difference. The Democratic Socialists of America, they are in favor of ending military aid for Israel, along with a number of other things: abolishing prisons, defunding police, wiping out the Senate, getting rid of the presidency as we know it, and changing the Supreme Court, and a bunch of other stuff. So anyway, but normally we wouldn't even be talking about Cory Bush being endorsed by the socialists, but this year the socialists have had a wave across the United States. A lot of them have been winning, and so it's a party you have to take seriously. You can't dismiss it. That wave may work to Cory Bush's benefit because they've been winning in so many other areas, and so that may mean that Cory Bush may pick up some support, a lot of support in St. Louis. So it's a matter
I'm trying to figure out, what did she do the first time?
Well, she lost. She won the first time. She beat Lacey Clay.
Okay. I understand about what I'm talking about. What did she do while she was up there?
And she had her priorities, one of which was the homeless, for example. This happened during her tenure. We had a lot of financial fallout. So one of her issues was homelessness, dealing with that.
But she said she
another
secured
issue,
$82 million for the city of St. Louis, Missouri, though.
Well, yeah, they do that. They
Where
bring
that? Where that
Wesley
at?
Bell says he brought in $200 million.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
city.
Where the money at?
So,
I don't follow them with them. I don't care. But I do understand where the money at. If you secured $82 million for this city, where the money at?
Well, we of course have to break that down. I'm not going to say that money was wasted. I'm not going to say that money did not get spent well. The money, Cory Bush's focus was on money for underserved communities.
Oh, okay.
And they were talking about her first time in office. So her focus was on the homeless and other issues, social issues, people who were suffering in underserved communities. But that's the same as Wesley Bell.
Yeah.
His focus has been the focus on people, poor people, homeless people. They actually agree on most issues with the exception of Israel. Military aid to Israel. That's the issue that they disagree on. And so this election is going to be decided on that because all the other issues, whether it's abortion issues, whether it's any others, they pretty much agree down the line. So there's not that much daylight between Wesley Bell and Cori Bush, with the exception of Israel. That's a major issue to me. So we shall see.
So that right there could be a determining point in whoever wins is in a whole nother country.
That's how
that ain't got nothing to do with St. Louis, Missouri.
Well, people are going to make their choice, I think, based on that. Because on all the other issues, most of the other issues, if you go down the line, they pretty much agree. Wesley Bell is a progressive. Cori Bush is endorsed by the socialists. So the socialists is like a little way left of the progressives. But like I said, they both did agree on most of the issues. I think that election is going to be important because it's going to test the strength of the socialist movement here in the United States. Either they will pick up more steam if Cori Bush wins. Maybe it's a less blue city than New York City, but they'll pick up more steam. If Wesley Bell wins, it might portend some problems for socialists going forward as they get to less blue areas. So that, to me, is the most important race for me.
No, and what you're saying is really true, but it's barking up. That's barking up the tree. That's like, if this is going to come down to something that got something to do with a whole nother country, I don't understand. I don't understand politicians because I thought the focus was to take care of your people's right here.
Well, the Democratic Socialists. Democratic Socialists of America.
Maybe I do.
They have made Israel because a lot of it's because of the battle with the Palestinians and Gaza and that whole issue that was going on obviously within the last number of years. And so the socialists basically sided with the Palestinians. They decided against Israel, and that has caused a number of people to turn against Benjamin Netanyahu, who was the Israeli prime minister. To turn against him, turn against the Israeli government, and side against Israel, side with the Palestinians. And so that's created a lot of disagreements, right, and a lot of hatred of the Israeli government. But Israel responded in that issue after the October 7th raid by Hamas, the terrorist group, that killed more than 1,000 Israelis, people who were raped, murdered, everything, women, and a whole 9 yards. And so, but still, the socialists, Democratic Socialists, have decided with the Palestinians and against Israel. And this election in St. Louis, I think, will be decided on which side you stand on. Wesley got a lot of Jewish support. He had a lot of money for his campaign from Jewish PACs. And so, to me, that is the most important.
This is what this is about. I mean,
because I care about that issue.
Good Lord. Elliot, you got me. I really want to go in here, but I got these young.
We only have 2 hours. We only have 2 hours. It'll fly by.
Buddy.
So that's your main point for now, and then we're moving on. So what's your name again?
Maria Chappelle Nadal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. There we go. Our audience. Ours is sleeping over there on the couch. You guys wake up. We got an exciting show planned for you today. What do you see on your list that means a lot to you?
Well, definitely County Council District number 1, the seat that I'm running for right now.
What?
Yes, I'm running.
There we
go. Rid of days.
Yes, against rid of days. Thank you so much, and I appreciate being here too. But this is a big race, and let me tell you, there are a lot of issues that people have to think about. Number 1, data centers, and I'm the only candidate who is against data centers being in neighborhoods.
We could spend a whole hour talking about that.
There are so many environmental issues that are associated with that, including noise pollution, water pollution, increased utility bills, all of those things. And one of my opponents, who happens to be the former mayor of Ferguson, sponsored Bill 7338 and 7339. And also, like, said, hey, why don't you take $1.6 billion away from Ferguson? So Ferguson is basically a black community. It's an inner suburban community.
So
you know, you part of the neighborhood, so you know about that.
It was like, if you was from Kinlock, you moved to Ferguson, you was moving up in the world.
Yes. But wait. You said you're from Kinlock, but do you know anything about Robertson?
Probably.
See, you knew in Kinlock, because if you don't know anything about Robertson, then you knew, because Robertson and Kinlock, they were related. So the folks who...
I thought you were talking about a street or something. Yes, I know.
You know Robertson? Okay. I'm just checking. I'm checking. Because, you know, when people were trying to get married, they always had to go from Robertson, go to Kinlock, just to make sure it wasn't a relative.
Most definitely. Because everybody, everybody's related in some type of way.
Yes, so families were 6 children, 12... Yes. But anyway, that gets me to the point of contamination and why we need to be concerned about these data centers. Both of my opponents are getting money from either a millionaire. One is Bob, the Republican Bob Anders' brother, Jim. And then the other one is the guy who owns Clayco, Bob Clark, Mr. Billionaire.
Mr. Big Boy
He's
big boy money.
That's real big boy money. Who also bought over St. Louis City Mayor's office too. So that's what we're talking about. So he's not only trying to buy the county council, but he's also trying to buy the county executive seat. You know.
Is it for sale though?
Hell no.
You don't think it's for sale?
It's not for sale. No. But you know what? That gets me to...
You can take my land, but you can't take my freedom.
No, but it gets me to the next issue that's really important in this community. We've been talking about RECA, and, you know, when I've been at this table before, we talked about the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, and for 16
that's
years
from the 1940s? Still, is
1940s. If you were in Robertson, it's 1953 when the St. Louis County government approved of a landfill in the middle of a black town where 80% of the people either got cancer.
They don't like that.
Or they died from cancer, and all of those people live in District 1, either District 1 or District 4. And so I've been the only advocate out and about in the streets trying to help people with this 24-page document that's really tedious to get all the information for. But we really need someone who is in District 1 who's going to be on the ground running. I'm the one who showed up as a state senator on the ground when we had a young black male who was killed by a police officer. I was there. Ella Jones, who happened to be the former mayor of Ferguson, was never there on the streets. And that's just a shame.
So who helped get that money to clean Kinlock up then?
Kinlock is different. Kinlock is different. It's not clean. RECA is not cleaning up. RECA is compensation for having being exposed to radioactive waste. And so you have multiple places in St. Louis County, including District 1, District 2, District 4, District 7, District 6, all the districts basically, and District 5.
I wouldn't be Florence and Hazelwood and stuff like that.
Yes, sir, but Maplewood too. All over the place. So in the work that I've done all of these years, I've basically tracked soil. I track soil, I track landfills, I track people who have done some incredibly terrible things
to the earth.
To the earth, but to the people who we love and cherish. And a lot of people have gotten cancer. They've gotten very rare autoimmune.
Water and all that stuff back in the day.
Water, air, it's all of that. All of it. And food, depending on if you were growing, like in Robertson, for example, they were growing from their own soil in the ground.
So
they were also drinking water from the wells. They didn't even have bathrooms until the 1970s in Robertson. So just think about every single time it rains, every single time the earth shifts, there is a migration of contamination. And because on Laddie Avenue, not only Laddie, but because we had some of this dry waste in the air at Banshee, McDonald Boulevard, and Laddie. You had ionizing radiation in the air for decades.
So that whole area is just no good.
Oh, it's terrible. And here's what disturbs me is the person who I'm running against right now has no understanding that the policy that she's been enforcing for the last few years has also gotten people more sick. A great example of that is where that new Boeing building is going for the F-47. Right across the street from that.
Highway, yeah.
In 1988, Post-Dispatch did a story. They found 240 Japanese uranium drums underground that leaked into the ground. There was no remediation there at all. So all of the people who've been working in that area, building the building around for the F-47, all of those people have been exposed as well. Those are people that you care about.
Yeah, most definitely. That's why I understand why everybody want to keep running the floors in Hazelwood when they know it's no good.
Well, a lot of people don't
cheap
know.
out there.
But you want to, you know what's going on, though. Make it make sense.
A lot of people don't know. I have a good friend who owns a farm right at the end of Bell
Fountain. We talk about it on her all the time.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
but he just showed me, he just harvested like a whole bunch of pears. And I'm like, Mark, those pears look so good. I don't want those pears.
No, you don't.
He was like, I'm going to juice them. And I was like, I'm not going to have none of that. I love you, but no, I'm not going to have any of those pears.
Back in the day, moving to them areas was like a luxury.
It was. It was
to be
great.
honest, it was a luxury.
It was part of the African American dream.
Yes, Ferguson, Hazelwood, Florissant, all of that was a luxury for black people to move. I used to think like, dang, I want to move. I want to live in one of these houses. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what the dream was? The dream was to move from St. Louis City to St. Louis County to buy a ranch-style house, be in a good school district. You know, that was the black American dream. You know, and what happened is a lot of the people who lived there at a very important time ended up moving to St. Charles. So when you have that influx, I always thought that influx in St. Charles was all about racism. It wasn't necessarily about racism because a lot of them were witnesses of what was being dumped in various places in North County.
Oh, is that right?
Boom.
So I moved to Wentzville. That's why I moved from Kinlock to Wentzville. I graduated from Wentzville, so I got a chance to see both sides of the world.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I graduated, and I think it was the greatest thing my mama could have ever did was move me out of there and move me up there.
So you went from Kinlock to Wentzville?
I went from Kinlock to, it was a total. I didn't see white people. Only time I seen white people was when I went to school, and I went to Hall's Ferry back in the day. That's the only time I see. And if I see a white person in Kinlock, it's because now a black dude had a girlfriend. And how that went on, other than that, I didn't see no white people until I went to school. But I started, and I'm kind of glad when I moved up there, I seen both sides of the world. You would thought it would have been racism because it was in the 80s and the 90s. But Wentzville was, I fell in love with it, and I love it. I still, to this day, I love it to this day.
Okay, so where you at now?
I'm down here. I'm back down here.
Okay, well, welcome back.
Almost definitely.
But he doesn't vote, though, so we won't talk about
wait a minute.
We won't talk about that.
All
right,
we
next
got the
question.
legal
All right, who's
women
up next?
voters here?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You got a ruler we can beat him with.
Nah, it's reasons.
Okay, so
but I see what's going on.
So that's your main focus right now. You're working on then. And
Absolutely.
We'll see if we can make our way back around for
Tuesday.
another two. There we go. All right. Let me make sure your mic's working.
Is it working?
Let me see if we can hear you. We'll start with you then, and we'll make crisscross back. I gotta plug your mic in too. Who's running this place?
You is? What you trying to plug? See, Ellie, this is all. You see all this work he got to do.
All right.
He can't even find nobody he can trust enough to do it for him. Gotta run everything himself.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. Yes, indeed.
What's your main concern?
My main concern actually is State Amendment number 5.
State Amendment number
I think
5.
it's going to be the worst thing that could happen to the state of Missouri, and that is the 5-year phase out of the individual income tax and the replacing of that tax, which is based on your income, with lots of sales taxes, lots of use taxes, and they're not going to ask you what your income is when you go to the doctor's office and there's an 18% sales tax on that visit, okay? It's not based on that at all. And the other piece of it is that, you know, right now, whether you agreed with it or not, we had something called the Hancock Amendment. And what
Okay.
that said was, if you want to tax us differently, or you want to tax us more in particular, you have to ask us first.
Right.
And
Yeah,
they are
right.
suspending that. And who knows what they'll do at the end of the 5 years. You know, we worry about that too. And the other thing about Amendment 5, the third thing about it is so vague that you really don't know what they're going to do. And that's the reason the League of Women Voters is saying vote no.
Okay.
Now, everybody says, and you're seeing all of these ads, you know, this great looking grandmother, sort of like me, you know, I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be 76.
You got the AI going on.
Yeah. I got the white hair going on. And they're all saying, you know, you're going to have $3,000 more in your pocket. That is not true.
Say not at all.
I'm going to be writing a check, you know,
All
a
day
hypothetical
long.
check, $550 or so more that I'm going to have to pay in sales taxes
That's
and
not-
other taxes.
That's too
So
much.
it is a switch.
Yeah.
It hurts people who don't make any money. It hurts people in the middle class. It hurts working folks.
Most definitely.
It hurts senior citizens. It's a disaster for active military. All of those folks
So we know
are
on
really
fire
hurt.
then, basically then.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you know what they're going to do? They're going to cut services.
Which
They're
one?
going to cut services. They're already doing it.
Yeah, they most definitely
Which
are.
one was this? I'm sorry, I was in.
That's 5.
Number 5. Okay.
They're
You
going
know
to cut
what?
services.
I would trust the government the day they give people the real ownership of their houses. And by what I say that, when you don't have to pay no taxes at all on something that you paid your money for. That's how it should. That's if you want to tax everything else, but don't tax somebody that somebody paid all them thousands and thousands of dollars for the house, and I still got to pay you at the end of the year again.
Unless it's an
I don't-
inheritance tax.
I don't fully own my house then if I'm still paying you taxes. Do that. It's just obvious stuff that I don't understand why people just don't focus on. People should want no property tax at all.
I gotta push back on
Yeah,
that
me
because it goes
too.
to education.
You think-
Well,
Education-
I
that's
thought
why
that's
all
what
of our
the
schools are
Yep.
closing,
I thought
right?
that's what the boats and
That's
stuff
the
was
city.
for.
I can't tell you about the city, but I can tell you about University City.
I thought that's what the boats was
Yeah,
for.
the county schools,
Back,
the county
back,
schools get all our kids. The county schools take our kids.
Back time out because this is my number one issue that I care about more than anything else after healthcare. It's public education.
Right.
Most
And
definitely.
let me tell you why your property taxes are so important outside of the zoo, outside of the state, and all those other things. Number one, your money goes to your local school districts. School districts are not all funded the same.
It does,
Most
or it's supposed
definitely.
to.
Right.
You have
right.
some school districts
Right.
that are well off. You have some school districts that are not. In those cases, they get more money from the state than the local property taxes because if you're in an impoverished area, you don't get as much as a Clayton. You don't get as much as a
Right.
Ladue.
Understandable.
But let me tell you something else. Why it's important to have these property taxes. There was a measure that was passed last year. It was the senior tax freeze. And the senior tax freeze took your money, my money,
I remember
and
that.
other people's money
I remember that.
for senior citizens. On the surface, it sounds wonderful. But you know what? Senior citizens are sacrificing that tax freeze, that property tax freeze, because they care more about children. And isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
So
I
I had
can
people
understand
who
that.
taught me. I talked to my second grade teacher today.
Uh-huh.
She is 84 years old.
All
I
right.
talked to my high school teacher, and both of them said that they were not going to utilize the property tax. So I get what you're saying because we're taxed out of our homes.
Right.
But let's get on top of
Yeah.
St. Louis County for that. Let's get
Right.
on top of St. Louis City for that. But I know that you want the next generation and the generation after that to have a superb education, and it's dependent upon those school board members to make sure that money, your money, my money, and everybody else's money is spent right.
But you gotta have a good foundation for I can be worried about. You know what
Yeah.
I'm just saying. In today's time, the normal person can't pay the tax. They buy their house, and I gotta turn around and give you thousands of dollars again.
It's
Now-
an investment.
So
Yeah,
what?
it's an
So
investment.
what?
Go live in an apartment.
So
then.
what is the votes?
You don't
and-
wanna pay,
What is
go to
all
live
this
in an
votes and the
apartment.
gambling and stuff?
All
for?
right, let's let the women hang together here, because
Let's let them on.
What the vote money going towards then?
well,
what's the,
Amendment 5, and I hope you go out and
Amendment
vote
5
if you
right
feel
here,
this
yeah.
strongly about it. But Amendment 5 is also going to be disastrous, not just for St. Louis County and St. Louis City and those impoverished districts, but I have to tell you, those people in the rural areas that
Yeah.
think they're going to do okay,
It says it's gonna hit them too.
it's going to hit them worse, because what are they going to tax? Do they have a big Costco out there in the middle of nowhere?
That's why
okay?
they try to put data centers in there.
Yeah, that's
They're-
why- that's what it says.
That's
It-
what they're gonna do, and not only that, it's, you know, a lot of those school districts are already operating on 4 days a week.
4 days
You
a
said
week.
your mom did the best thing she ever
She
did by
did.
sending you to
She
Wentzville.
did.
Then you
She
should
did.
care about those
She
schools.
did. No, I do. I promote. If your
We
kids,
gotta pay
if
for
your
them.
kids got a better chance to go out and go to better school, you right. You seeing them out there.
So our city
right.
schools
Yeah.
suffer.
Hey, well,
Screw those city schools. Yeah,
schools
we're
need to
taking
get up
all
to
their
par.
kids.
They need to get up
But
to
you
par.
know
Because
what?
they're taking all of our superintendents taking all
Property,
their money. and
property
everything.
taxes and state income tax paid for you to get the better education
Hey,
in
I ain't worried
Wentzville,
about
okay?
that. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much. I ain't gonna never knock it. Real
One
talk.
of the things I want to talk about is the race for county executive. That's trying to pick somebody to follow Sam Page.
Right.
A lot of people are ready for Page to move on. I mean, we've had the last 2 county executives.
Elliot, they got a lot of lying going on out here in this county.
Oh,
going
man.
on.
But
I'm
we're
a
not
county-
in deficit.
Listen,
Let's
I'm
not
a
get
county
started
resident.
there.
I'm talking about these guys that's running for it. They lie. Oh, somebody lying
Well,
on somebody.
like you said, they're trying to give a raise before you even know who it
Well,
is. How
is
does that even work?
that's one of the that was one of the strangest things
And they're in a deficit.
about this in the
Right.
beginning of this contest.
Right.
It looked like Brian Williams was the odds-on favorite to win,
Right.
but then Angela Mosley. Walton Mosley jumped in the
Man.
race, which is an African American female.
Yeah.
She jumped in the race, and that she may take a lot of
Take
the
a lot of votes
support in North County
From Brian
from
Williams.
Brian Williams.
Man.
And so all of a sudden, it looks like a race.
Man.
So there was one poll that was highlighted by the St. Louis Magazine that showed Jake Zimmerman, the county assessor, ahead. Of course, that poll was paid for by the Zimmerman campaign.
Of course it was.
But you know what?
and
Elliot,
Brian
I
Williams
kinda-
said-
I kind of like Zimmerman. I ain't gonna even lie. The way he conducted himself right now, maybe he just know how to lie better than everybody else.
Well, I think this. Here's one of the things that got me with this whole county executive deal. The county is supposed to be in a huge financial crisis, but the county council passed a measure to give the next county executive a $55,000 raise to
Yeah.
raise the salary from $140,000 to $195,000. Now
think they like that.
and the folks behind this, and some of the people behind this was Rita Days,
Yeah.
who Maria is running against, and also Shalonda Webb. They were 2 of the supporters of this deal. Well, they were supporting Brian Williams, right? And not saying he was part of it, but I'm saying Rita and Shalonda,
Yeah.
they were supporting this deal that would have given, had it passed, it did pass actually, it would have given, hiked the salary to $195,000. Page vetoed the bill.
Right.
Because it violated a part of the county charter.
What
So
did it do?
Page vetoed
But he
it.
also-
But
he's a
the
hater.
story is not over because they are intent on giving their buddy a big raise. So now they've got Proposition C on the ballot.
Proposition
If
C.
ever there was a big
pull
NO
that up.
for voters, it's Proposition C.
Is that
And so
right? Is that right,
Proposition,
Elliot?
Proposition C
Here we
basically is their way to get around
Wow, that's a long lot of words you got.
it's their way to get around. Yeah, it's so confusing.
They try to confuse
that
you,
you
right?
can't
Break it down to
understand.
the world
They
simple,
made it
Elliot.
Yeah,
intentionally.
what's the bottom
They
line?
made it intentionally confusing so that voters wouldn't understand that it would give the county
larger
council the
window.
power to give their buddies a raise.
And
that's
get rid of the head man. And they can get rid of the head man too, right?
well, now it would give them a raise. Basically, this whole deal is for
Yeah.
a raise, and so they haven't been able to do it the way the charter is now. But if voters approve Proposition C, it will give the council the power to hike that, to give that pay raise that they had not been able to give. They wanted to hike the salary to $195,000.
Right.
Page vetoed it, but they aren't giving up. So they put Proposition C on the
against
ballot.
that?
Absolutely against
Yeah,
it.
okay.
I've been
Who's
talking
that?
to-
Because you know,
Lisa.
I was finna give it to you. You know, I was finna give it to
You're
you.
not gonna give me nothing. So let me just tell you something. The reason why I am against it, it first came about when I was knocking
Okay.
doors, going door to door, and the seniors came to me and they showed me their ballot and they were like, "What about this? What about this?" And the first thing I said, if it's from the county council, vote no because you can't trust them.
Right, right.
You can never trust them. So, but I had to go back and look at it
Isn't
because
that
on the
bad?
yes, let me tell you, on the surface of it, it seems like something logical, which it is. It's to make sure that all of the county elected officials
Right.
are inaugurated on the same day.
Okay.
That is good. That's a good thing, so you don't have like anything missing in action, anything that just is a disruption to government. But then you keep reading on, and what I was looking at, Elliot, is the fact that it goes against not only the current county charter, but also the state's constitution.
Yeah,
Because
Missouri
within the
Constitution.
Within the Missouri state's constitution, you cannot change a person's salary within the same term that they're serving.
Yeah, within the
That's
election.
number
Ah.
one. And so the time
Right.
period that you have to look at all these changes is, okay, let's just say Proposition C passes. Well, between that time, August 4th, and let's say September 4th, the county council can make a decision whether or not they're going to change something. Add that onto the
Will
ballot.
Sam
for
get some of
November.
that money?
No,
He
because
wouldn't
of
get
what
none.
I just told you.
No
which is
severance,
in the
no
state's-
severance pay.
which is in the state's constitution.
Uh-huh.
However, if Proposition C passes, they'll have a time frame between 30 days after Proposition C passes and the inauguration of the next person.
Oh, okay. So
So-
who's going?
They're going to try to
so
move
who's
it
on
all
the-
to January.
So who's in a?
It means they can give their buddy a raise.
Right. So who's sitting
That-
up there
that's-
going against
that's
that?
essentially.
Is any one of them going against it?
No, they're not, unfortunately.
Lisa
Joe.
Clancy.
No, it says
Lisa
Joe's not
Lisa
available
Clancy
today.
She's the only
opposed
one
it.
going.
Yeah, Lisa
Oh, she's
Clancy,
beautiful then.
and then Gretchen's for
She's
it.
beautiful then.
Gretchen supported it,
Right, and Clancy doesn't like
and
it.
Archer supported it
Oh,
as
she's
well.
beautiful then. Real talk. Because you shouldn't be able to do nothing like
She's
that.
from
Real talk.
Maplewood, yeah.
But they're trying to slick it through.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
And
course.
make it so confusing so that voters won't know what it
look at that.
is,
That's a whole
and so
short
they'll
story
vote
right
for it
there with
anyway.
all that.
And so it's totally a mess.
How long
Well,
that
it's
is?
The-
worse
the-
than that, Elliot. It's worse than that
It
because
can't be
what
worse
they're
than a mess.
Well, no, it is because
A damn mess.
It is, and let me tell you why.
Tell us
Time out.
why.
Let me tell you
Hold on.
why. Because they are using
This is beautiful,
voters.
y'all.
They're using voters to do their dirty work.
Right.
That's what's happening with Proposition C, and that's not right. They're making a bet that their political benefactor is going to take the reins, win that seat, and get an increase in his salary. The problem with that is, if we're talking about Angela Mosley, she's only a state senator, so she only makes about $40,000 a year. If you're talking about Jake Zimmerman, he's at $90,000 a year. So for him, it would be an increase, and for Angela, it would be an increase.
Okay.
But here's the thing. For the current senator of the 14th, who's my state senator, he works
Is that
for
Brian?
Brian Williams.
Brian Williams.
He works for the guy we're talking about who builds data centers. He works
No.
for
No,
seriously.
this
he
is
works,
conflicted.
Wait,
This is
wait.
conflicted. This is conflict.
He works for the billionaires. He has a nonprofit
Who helped get Kara Spencer
organization
elected, right?
Who got Kara Spencer
Oh my
elected.
God, it's deep.
Tell the
And
truth.
Get your shovel.
He's
Get your
already
shovel.
Tell the
making
truth.
six
It's lovely.
figures. So
This is
between
beautiful.
being a state senator and already making six figures with Bob Clark's nonprofit, you can only see that Proposition C is for Brian Williams.
Yeah.
It's
B-Dub.
not for nobody else but Brian
But
Williams.
B-Dub make it seem
Because
like
he's
very
the
much.
only
yeah.
one.
Boy.
He's the only one who would take a salary cut
That's
if
exactly.
he wins.
and
He's
that's-
the only one who
Man.
would take a salary cut.
But he can afford it.
And
though.
that's what you're saying. That's what
He
you're
can
saying. We're
afford it.
doing their dirty work. There's nothing here for the citizens,
Nothing.
right? It's all
And
in-house.
then if you
Yeah,
support
right.
it, I'm not saying this is going to happen. If you support him on his raise, what's to prevent you from getting a job in the new administration?
But said if you giving people raises, you ain't got no excuse for why roads and stuff is not getting fixed.
Well, that's a whole different.
But they're
topic.
saying it's a crisis already.
They say, they saying it's a
here's the
crisis.
whole
You
thing.
so right,
The
Elliot.
county council is saying the county's in a $40 million deficit.
Right.
Yeah.
They may have to lay off people, cut services and everything.
Right.
In the midst of all this, they're saying, but we can
We
give
gonna
the
give
top
you-
elected
Make
guy
it make
a $55,000 raise up
Make
to
it make
Don't they need?
$195.
They need a whole new. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Make it make sense. That's all I'm
I'm
saying.
saying, and they need a whole new sprinkler system too in Clayton, right? They're trying to
No.
move that to St. Anne.
Yeah, that's why they try to move to St. Anne because they don't
That's
want to
where
put
the
that money
elective
into that-
board is.
Yeah, they don't want
Yeah,
to put
that's
that
one
money
of the
into that
big
building.
You
issues.
can't afford these bigger services, but yeah, they're worried about a single individual versus.
What happened to Joe
But
Vigario when he went against the pay
here's the
raise?
point. You got to keep in mind that when you become county executive, you can dish out a lot of high-paying jobs.
So you
course.
should dish out.
I'm not saying somebody's going to get a high-paying
Job.
job,
Ah.
Contracts.
but I'm saying
For you.
you've
So
got
you
a-
can dish out, huh?
you've got a lot of directors' jobs,
Like a mug.
and you got a lot of six-figure jobs that you get to dish out.
Nepotism
And
is
if you got,
greatest.
and
Yeah.
if you've got a memory,
Favoritism, yeah.
if
Nepotism
you've got a
is
memory,
greatest.
you say, "I remember them. They helped me get my deal."
Oh,
I'm not
so
saying
you-
that,
you
though.
ain't
That's
got
what
to-
that.
You ain't got
Hold
to say
on,
much.
hold on. That's what that guy that with the funny hair. What's his name? The guy that runs the country. That's what he said when he said, "I only like people that like me."
It's right.
That's what he
And
said about LeBron
no,
James.
But
after
he for
that.
real. He
But-
for real.
But
When
I mean,
he
that's
say,
anybody. Yeah,
He's for
yeah.
real.
You know, I like you.
He
You like
for
me.
real.
I mean,
But he for real.
That's
though.
how it works, though, right?
Real talk. I don't. Hey,
Back scratching.
good Lord.
So we don't know who's going to win this thing.
Right.
Brian was the clear favorite at the very beginning, African American guy, state senator,
Man.
and so he was anointed. And with Bob, what's his last name?
Bob
Bob
Costas.
Clark.
Yeah, Bob Clark. He worked for him, and so he had money behind him, big bucks behind him. So he was the odds-on favorite.
Okay.
And but all of a sudden, Angela hopped in the race, and that changed the whole equation.
Who
She
did
is
that?
a
Ellie.
spoiler
Ellie.
in the
Hey.
first.
Ellie.
Right on,
Hey.
Angela.
Ellie.
And let me tell you,
Ellie.
We love Angela.
Did you
And
have
let me
something
tell
to do
you,
with that,
she's
Ellie?
at the polls right now. Angela is at the polls right now. If it's not 1 o'clock yet, she's been there every single day for the last 2 weeks for early voting.
Elliot, did you encourage her to jump in this race?
No, but I like things to be interesting.
Okay.
But according to that poll, I think it had Zimmerman ahead by what was it? Here, hold on here. Okay, where is this poll? Here's the
He
new
win
poll.
it, huh?
Had Zimmerman ahead by 28%, Brian Williams 19%, and Angela Walton Mosley 10%. So in other words, of course, the caveat is that Zimmerman's campaign paid for that poll. Brian Williams' campaign said, "But that's not accurate. We got a poll that says
Right.
Brian's ahead."
Right.
So,
You
but,
so
but
right.
clearly, Angela is cutting into
To somebody's
lead, and it's probably more than likely, since she's
It's gonna be
African,
B-Dub.
she's African American too, representing
Oh,
North
man.
County, that would normally go for Brian. She's cutting into his support. I've
Well,
seen this
I'm calling it
act
right
before.
now. Zimmerman finna be the next counselor. I'm calling it
Well,
now.
we aren't calling. We got an open
No,
mind.
we're not. Yeah, we're not. No, we're nonpartisan, as they say.
Yeah, we're
I'm
all
calling-
nonpartisan.
I'm anti-BS.
We don't
That's
have
what I
any.
am.
We don't have any favorites here.
Look, I told
We're
you,
just
I
the
dig
facts.
Zimmerman. Did you hear me say at the beginning? I said, I kind of dig him. His commercials.
Oh,
they-
commercials.
they- they-
Ooh.
that's
The
the
choice
only
of
thing
a
we
law
go
firm
off
is an
Ooh.
important choice and should not be.
What else can we go off of?
You don't run. You listen to commercials.
I'm just talking about what else can we go off of.
This
That's
guy.
why money calls.
That's
in
why
this
we have
game.
them here. Come here and
'Cause
show
it makes-
yourself.
It makes people like me see. I never even know who you was, but your commercial done caught my
Oh
attention.
man, this guy.
Yeah, St.
real
Charles
talk,
is
B.
another race.
St. Charles.
Let's
right
not-
here.
let's not
next
forget-
next topic. Let's bring that up.
Okay,
St. Charles. That
St.
is.
St. Charles, that's a big race between
Yeah.
incumbent
County
Steve
executive.
Elman.
Yeah.
Yeah, the race for county executive between Steve Elman, Bill Eigel, Jason
Yeah.
Law, and Elman has been there for 20 years, and it's a pretty heated
Charles.
race. And there are a
St.
number of
Charles
issues.
County right here,
The most
yeah.
interesting thing about that, one of the things about that race is that all the things that Bill Eigel has been bringing up in his campaign for the reasons that folks should put him in. The county,
laughable.
well, now what the county council has done was to change all those things. So Bill Igo says, Elman is for the data centers. Well, the council passed a measure to have a moratorium on data centers. And they said, well, Igo said, Elman is in favor of the county collecting the personal property taxes. Well, the council passed a law that says zero out the personal property taxes. We're not going to collect any more personal property taxes for St. Louis County government. So St. Charles County government. And then so everything is, and then the last thing, there's been a big debate over housing, and Igo saying there's too many apartments in St. Charles County, and Elman is responsible. Well, the county council passed a law that said a moratorium on the apartments. So it's clearly that the St. Charles County Council is really saying who they want in this election. They want to keep Elman there. They're trying to keep Igo out at all costs. Elman had decided not to run until Igo got in the race.
Right.
He had initially said.
But Igo has good commercials too.
He most definitely does.
We're not going off commercials
now. No, once you need to start watching TV.
The choice of a lawyer is the choice of a
TV.
lawyer is an important choice and should not be based on advertisements alone.
Man, stop it.
You know how many
don't
lawyer
watch TV.
billboards are? No, that's billboards.
You don't watch TV.
I'm gonna get a billboard. That's more effective.
You got to see what's going on because you don't watch TV. These
It's
commercials
all
are
sad and
very
depressing.
intri-
I cry
these
when I watch
commercials-
TV.
These commercials are very intriguing. Once again,
right.
if you could pull a perfectly guy like me who ain't even into this, and
All
I
right.
see you doing something right.
All right.
Real talk.
So Elman has been, you said, for 20 years, huh?
Yes.
He was gonna retire.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was going to retire. Igo got in. Igo has a lot of support in St. Charles. Igo ran for governor, and he came in like second.
He
or
lost,
something like
yeah,
that.
against
He beat
Kehoe,
out
yeah.
Ashcroft.
Yeah, that's big.
He beat out Ashcroft. Of course, he lost to Mike Kehoe, but he did very well, and he did extremely well in St. Charles County. So you cannot count out Igo, like I said, who has a great deal of support.
Looks like he's a shock jock. He's trying to burn boxes and get
Yeah,
flamethrowers.
he had the flamethrower.
He's one of the
He had the-
scariest
That's cool, I
people.
guess.
He's
That's
one
why
of the
he don't
scariest
watch
people for a
commercials.
liberal.
He don't see
For
TV.
us, for a progressive, Bill Igle is one of the scariest people. But when it comes to those folks who are out in St. Charles,
Right.
that's exactly the kind of coffee they drink.
He may be to the right of Trump.
Hey, you know what?
He is right
Hey.
in Trump.
Huh?
Hey.
Yeah.
He is right.
Ooh.
He
I
may
ain't
be.
gonna even lie.
If you cut that, he may be to the right of Donald
You
Trump.
right. You right about that. One thing I
can
can say about this what's the other? What's the one that's in there right now? What's his name?
Elman.
Yeah, he has made St. Charles County grow.
He has.
He has made St. Charles County grow, and I'm talking about from when I moved up
Right.
there, we had no White Castles.
Oh my.
We had to go
Is
all
that
the way
what
to.
you
That's
basically call
advertising.
I'm just saying.
All right. Next question.
There's a lot
just
of
saying.
you.
No,
You
I'm just
are
saying.
absolutely
Can
right.
we get
No.
the League of Women
You-
voters
you-
back
I'm
up in
going
here?
somewhere.
We
We're
need the
moving
League
on.
of Women
You
voters.
are-
We
you
need
are
women
right.
voters.
I'm going somewhere
Time
with
out. We
this.
need the League of
I'm
Women
going somewhere with
voters.
this. No faking.
Number one, they didn't
It was
send us a
one.
check.
It was
Now,
one
I'm
of
asking for a
everything.
latte,
And that's
cafe
exactly what.
latte over
That's
there.
exactly
You
what.
couldn't even get
Hold
that
on.
back then.
That's exactly what America needs is another fast food restaurant.
But
But
That's
no,
the problem
but you
anyway.
are right.
No, I'm talking about the growth. I ain't talking about no fast food.
Let me say this. You
I'm
are
talking about
right.
the growth.
You are right.
It's growth.
A lot of growth since Elman came to
Oh,
office.
most definitely.
Crime has been very low
All
since
day.
Elman came to office. He's focused on maintaining a safe community, and so he's done a lot of good in over
Most
his 20
definitely.
years in St. Charles County.
He's a very pro-business person, and he has been because
I know
he
what I'm
An
talking about.
anti-crime,
Yeah.
and an anti-crime person too.
Yeah.
I know what I'm
Strong,
talking about a
strong
little bit.
law enforcement.
I think
definitely.
that
He's a-
what shines in Elman is the fact that he has been cooperating with St. Louis City and St. Louis County for the long
Do a beautiful job of it.
for the region.
Right.
For the region, and despite what party affiliation he may be part of, he's always put the region ahead.
So you
of
can wheel and
everything.
deal with him if you win, then right.
I usually start with Democrats because I'm a Democrat since I was
Almost
5
there.
years old and voted for Jimmy Carter. But in terms of the well-being of
You a
the
messy
1 million
Republican.
people, no, not like that. I'll work with
That's what I
people
mean.
who will advance the needs of those who live
Okay.
in St. Louis County.
Say no more.
That is my objective.
Say no more. Sound like a beautiful thing. to
I
do.
go maybe less likely to do that. He's a different person than Elman is.
You said you
one
said,
of the
like you
things
said,
that
he Trump,
Igo
he
tried
Trump,
to-
he
That's
Trump,
true.
he next to Trump.
One of the things that Igo tried to do was wipe out the personal property taxes statewide. He tried to get that through the legislature. And the legislature says, we're not doing it. Tell you what we're going to do. We'll make it just apply to St. Charles County. How about that? And that's what they did. It didn't get through the legislature because he had made so many adversaries in Jefferson City. But I still have to say he came in second in the race for governor.
No, he most definitely
and
did.
he has a lot of support in St. Charles County, so Elman has a race on his hands.
What I tell people in St. Charles County this, because I've dwelled up there for years, keep the man who you got, because I'm talking about, he ain't going to do right if you put the other guy in there. No faking. I ain't going to even say his name. I ain't going to even say his name, but keep Mr. Elman in there right now, because I know where St. Charles came from. And to see where all the major, how they spread it out, and it was country places, and I'm talking about it's just earth everywhere now up there now. It's a beautiful place. I love it.
What do you ladies think?
Yes.
Yeah.
So did you say you didn't vote?
What we got next?
You said you don't vote, right?
No. It's
Or you were
reason.
kidding?
It's reason.
Because you have opinions, and it seems to me
Yeah,
you would be out
Didn't
there
you say I would love
voting.
to? I picked the wrong. I would love to be a run for some, because I ain't gonna do it. But people don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth.
Well,
I
I
wouldn't
need
be no
to
They
good.
just want to be able to talk sometimes.
Who
No,
do
Victoria will tell you
who do
the
you
truth.
ladies like in the race for county executive in St. Charles County?
So we are nonpartisan, and we don't endorse candidates, and we don't endorse parties, but we do take positions on issues. So we're not going to talk about
But you
people.
can give me your personal
And I
opinion.
live in the city
which
too,
one's
so
that
I'm
one
not
is?
following it as closely,
closely
as you
like that,
guys
yeah.
might be. I do live in District 1.
What was the question on that one? Which one?
That district
Come
one.
up.
St.
District
Charles
1?
County?
Same.
Oh, that was Bush Bell. That's the district I live in, but I'm
District 1?
undecided, and I wouldn't answer your question anyway because the league doesn't support individual candidates.
Oh, okay.
But
But
we're
we
here
do
talk
want to talk
those
about
ballot
these
issues.
amendments because we
Yeah.
have positions on those.
Oh.
Yeah,
Amendments.
because
Yeah,
you
let's
talked
start with-
about the commercials. Honestly, with all of these,
Yeah, we don't need commercials.
whether it's the candidates or the ballot issues, if you watch these commercials, you have no idea what
You
is
don't.
happening. Because one guy
Right.
says it's black, the other guy
That's-
says it's white.
Oh, yeah.
The grandma says she's going to be spoiling
You
her
right.
grandchildren, but
All right.
And that's
she's
why I say,
not paying
that's why I
income
say
tax
it's
right
whoever
now.
lied
Okay,
to me
this
the
one-
best right
Yeah.
now.
This
The
one I saw.
amendment I have a big question about is Amendment 4.
We're getting
Yeah,
to that. Yeah,
so
I
I'll
saw
get
that
to
one
that
too.
one.
And
Yeah.
it seemed
So-
like Amendment 4 would take away some power from the voters to
It
be able
for
to make
sure will.
decisions
It for
and
sure
make it more
will.
difficult for
But
them
let me
to
just
and
let
make
me-
it
Well, that's
more,
the
it makes it more
redistricting
difficult
stuff, too.
for them
Okay,
to
Victoria.
amend
So
the
let me
state
just
constitution.
say though, before we get started, so we at the league, we're all about voter education, because
Okay.
if you show up to the polls and you read that legally language, you know, that funky language that's trying to explain what you're going to vote on,
Yeah.
you know, you could be forgiven for thinking, I have no idea
Idea.
what this is. So, I mean, how many presentations have you done, Kathleen, this last month, just on this is what they mean?
I've done
Probably
19
yeah.
presentations on
Because-
the ballot issues.
Just explaining
Just
it
teaching
in
people.
plain
Yeah.
English, because
Dang.
it's so
So-
hard to follow, and I do think they do it on purpose,
Yeah.
you
So
know,
you
to
saying
make it
basically people just
confusing.
go in there and vote with it, just checking stuff and just not even
A
reading?
lot of them
Yeah.
do because
Yeah.
they
They
don't
do.
understand it.
Or
And-
like
just
one
skip
little
it.
phrase will
Yeah.
catch your eye,
And Amendment
you go,
4,
oh, I don't
think-
want non-citizens to
I
vote.
think
Check.
amendment-
And it's really about something
And that's why I'm telling him
completely
commercials
different.
play a big part in this game.
And this
Yeah.
was always where they sneak stuff in. When you start, this
Yeah.
one's really easy though.
It
Amendment
is.
1, it talks about the state parks, which sounds good,
Yeah.
but it says 1/10 of 1% goes to the parks. Where
That's
does the rest
nothing.
of the money
No,
go?
no, no, no,
That's
no,
That's
nothing.
not how you
It's
explain
that's
it.
Well, how
not
does
how
it-
that's not quite what it means. So Amendment 1, it's an automatic ballot referral, which
Okay.
means it's already in place. We just have to vote every 10 years to renew it.
Okay.
So it's 1/10 of 1% of sales tax goes towards this. It's not that there's
not even-
9/10 of something else that is getting
Oh.
wasted. It's just that's how much of the sales tax this affects.
I think Amendment
And this
1
is
is a
why-
good deal.
Yes,
I guess so.
I-
It's
yes.
not a lot of
support-
money.
I'm
I
a
like
lot for
parks.
support
one.
It
Am-
lets our
'cause
state
it-
parks have no entrance fees,
Right.
free parking.
Oh, yeah.
It supports,
That's why we got the
you know,
greatest zoo in the
maintenance
world, 'cause
on the
it's free.
trails.
I like
Right.
parks. Well, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
It's not a lot.
Right.
It's not a lot of
But
money.
Right.
one of the things I was saying was it's Amendment 4
All right, we're getting
that I
back.
have the
let's
that
go
I
on.
have the problem with,
Yeah.
because it makes it more difficult for citizen initiatives, for example, to be able to change the Constitution, but it still allows the legislature
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
able
it's a
to
real
Can I-
change
double
the
standard.
Can I
Constitution. So it's
just-
like a double standard. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, can I
Understand
just say one thing about 1? Because I didn't get a chance
It
to say
sounds
this when I
easy.
did
I mean, but,
5.
yeah.
When I did 5. There is a line in 5, okay, where they're going to put in taxes that says that the state auditor will have the power to review, in essence, Amendment 1. Will have the power to review that pot of money that goes to parks and conservations, which right now, one of the things that the league likes about it the most, because we have strong environmental policies, is the fact that the
Ooh.
legislature cannot mess with that money. They can't get their hands on it. Okay?
Yeah.
But if you read Amendment 5 that I just talked about, one of the lines way down says that the auditor can look at the conservation and parks money. Now, it doesn't say exactly what that means,
Yeah.
which is what's
And
wrong
how
with the
long
whole
it'll
thing.
take to actually get that
But
money.
I worry now. I worry now
If it
about
goes where it's supposed to.
yeah, and Amendment 1 is one of the things that Missouri does absolutely right.
It looks easy.
Yeah.
It looks easy on paper, but
Yeah,
like,
it ain't
is
got
there?
that-
What's the
you know
small?
why it look easy? Because it ain't very much money being involved.
Yeah.
Proposition.
140
And
That's
everybody
why.
loves
Proposition.
parks, right?
Let's
That's why.
not leave here.
Let's do 4.
without
Oh, we
talking
got
about
plenty of time. All right, let's go.
Proposition U.
All right, we're getting
Okay,
there real
we're
quick.
gonna do
You
4
want to do
first.
4 or you?
We're gonna do 4 first.
Well, I was
That's
gonna-
the one you want to talk about.
Amendment 4.
Yeah, I have
Amendment
said. I've said
4.
everything I want to say about
Yeah.
4.
Okay,
I think
I
it's
think
no
we
good.
said about 4. Yeah, I don't think we
So-
like 4, but
4,
No, I think it's
4
no
and
good,
5
but-
have been getting the most attention
Yeah.
of the statewide ones. 1 and
Okay.
2,
what's your take on
not
it?
so
Yeah.
much. So, I mean, I'm sure you've all been approached on the street by people saying, "Will you sign this petition for blah 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 blah?" Chances are that was a citizen initiative petition.
Oh,
So
okay.
what that means is you or me or anybody with several $1 million could start a petition to get something put before the voters. So like legalize marijuana was one. Medicaid expansion
Yeah, here
was
it is.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legalize abortion, sports
And
betting.
sports betting, they were all citizen initiative petitions.
Would
So
kill
you have
that.
to collect signatures all around the state. You need a certain percentage of voters in 6 of the 8 congressional districts. So you can't just get people in St. Louis to sign it and then poof, it's on the ballot. It's got to be statewide. But once it's there for us to vote on, you just need 50% plus 1 vote and it'll pass. It's a simple majority. What this is trying to do is change that. So instead of the 50% plus 1, you have to have a majority in all 8 congressional districts. So every single place
Okay.
needs to vote.
We playing a fair
But
game.
what that
You want to play a
means-
fair game?
Well, no, not necessarily.
no,
One
there's no such
person, one
thing.
vote is how I think a fair game. Yeah.
Well, right.
But none of these that you just talked about, Medicaid expansion, marijuana, legalized abortion, sports betting,
Yeah.
there's a ban right now that Amendment 5 would suspend
It
that
says
says you
that-
can't tax services.
It
There's
says
one-
it bars donations
Yep.
from foreign residents.
You know, those-
That's what I don't like. The out of
That
town
is
money.
already
I don't
the
think.
law.
That's
That is
already the law.
There's nothing you
So
can do
let
with
me
that.
tell
Oh, okay.
you, one of the things the people supporting this say is that it's too easy to change the Constitution
Too
right now.
easy.
Because collecting, 175,000 signatures from the whole state is too easy. But what this is doing is, it's already the law. It
Yeah.
would put it in the Constitution. So, seems to me you can't have it both ways.
So I might wake
But-
up.
Yeah, this is a little confusing too.
I think
Yeah.
here's what it'll do when you talk about the money that comes in, because both sides say, "Oh, dark money, money from out of state."
Oh, yeah, of course.
Everybody says
Everybody
it,
was
so
just-
it kind of,
Not making about
it's not just on one side or the other. But what this means is, if something is on the ballot and you don't like it, you only have to spend money in one district
Not all 8 of them.
to kill it, because it could pass,
Yeah.
80% in 7 of the districts. But if you put all your money and all your ads and all your focus in that 8th, not number 8, but
it
one
just-
of the 8 districts,
Yeah, you automatically
and
lose everything.
and you manage to get it to fail, everything's
Oh
gone.
my goodness.
And so, that
that ain't
does
fair.
not seem like fair
No,
play.
that's most definitely not fair
to me.
game. That's
Yeah.
most definitely
Yeah.
not fair game.
Because
Yeah.
if the legislature puts something on the ballot, it's a
It's the
simple
same rules,
majority
yeah.
across the state.
So
And I think
don't
that's
like
what
the double
Elliot said.
standard either.
Right,
Yep.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
That's why I say it's a bad deal for citizens.
Well, you got some
Sounds
smart
right.
people coming up with these. You got some part, boy. They trying to get through them loopholes, boy.
Yeah,
They're trying
but
to
you
They
know,
slide
trying to get
through.
through them loopholes.
probably close to half the states in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
have a process like this, and they all have slightly different rules. Like some of them, you got to get 60% to pass. And there's
Man.
arguments for and against that, but that's not what they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
This is
It would
they,
still
because
require
they
simple
say
majority.
that the rural counties, their voice is not heard because
That's why they're trying to
we get enough
redistrict
votes
everything.
in,
Yeah.
in the big cities that it.
And you know what? It's gonna turn into a regular. It's gonna turn into an electoral college then. That's what that is, and it tries to get people that are less heard of or whatever versus simple majority rules.
Yeah, but
That's
you-
what an electoral college is. That's what it looks like they're
Well, it's
trying to
way
do
You
Yeah,
know,
here.
if
rule is-
all the money goes to one district just
Yeah.
to try and kill something,
It's
I
gonna
mean,
be very
nothing's
easy to do
ever
it
going to
then.
pass.
Yeah.
And the thing to remember here, we've had a supermajority of one party for quite a while now. So I think that's why many of the recent citizen initiative petitions have been more kind of liberally kind of things. But it could just as easily be the other way around. There's nothing that says only, that
Boy, I
no
love to see the
conservative
I love to see the day
citizen
Missouri go
initiative
red. Good
petitions can be
Lord.
done.
It's
But it
already
is a
red.
way-
Oh my
I mean, blue.
goodness.
It is a way for citizens to get something on the ballot that the legislature does not consider a priority.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And
I
I'd
would
hate
love
to
to see
see
the day
that.
when it go red
It's
like
been
that.
around for more than 100 years in Missouri. And, let everybody vote.
Democrats better do something for the state of Missouri.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all keep it's just been a pummel for years and years.
Yeah,
and
so
years.
we're thinking 4.
It's
Yeah,
been a
4 is
pummel.
not gonna be pretty good. And we got into 5 already. Yeah. so-
Proposition U.
All right, let's jump
Yeah.
to that.
That is an important one. That's one that the council says if that doesn't pass, they're going to have to lay off people. And as the county has a $40 million
Proposition U. Here we
40
go.
county has a $40 million deficit, and I was at the county budget meeting where they talked a lot about Prop U, and they said we got to pass it now. If we can't pass it in August, we'll try it again in November because we got a $30 million deficit, and we got no other way to be able to deal with that deficit. What that is, it's a tax increase,
Yeah,
essentially
I don't think I
a
like
tax
that.
on like out of town online purchases.
Everything.
And yeah, so a lot of people, right? So you really end up hitting some poor people.
Oh my gosh,
You're
right
You
here.
hitting
end up,
a lot
you end up
of
hitting poor people the hardest because basically they end up paying more money for the basics. And you end up giving all this money, millions of dollars more, to county council that's shown that it's
Right,
inept.
right.
That it's inept and it's not financially responsible. So you're just going to end up giving them millions of dollars more in order to waste.
right.
And the people really will suffer. This will hurt the poorest people.
And
So
that's
you
what I
said-
mean. And that's why I talk about how important it is for people to be able to stay in their homes. At this point in time, people are getting taxed out of their homes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And
Out of their
District
home.
1,
You
District
own the home,
4,
not the land.
You have
Right.
District 2. There are a lot of places where people are just making it from check to check. And
Oh,
they're
yeah.
borrowing on the next check. I mean, this economy
Payday loan.
It's
is
horrible.
so bad.
Who needs a
It's
payday
It's so
loan?
bad. But wait a minute. Here's the thing. The economy is so bad
How
that
bad
people
is it?
can't. I saw last at the grocery store, someone counting pennies at the grocery store.
And you don't see
like
that
seriously.
often.
You got to keep
And
your
then the
pennies now.
That was on Saturday night. I was walking door to door, and after walking door to door, I went to the grocery store to get a bite to eat, and that's when I saw that. And then the next day, I was at QT getting my tea like I always
gas
do.
station. They didn't pay us either.
Before I was going out to walk, and there was someone who was counting their change. This economy is so bad because of the person in the oval. And it's also bad because people are not getting the responsive leadership that they need at the county council. I mean, they have wasted $3.2 million. They almost wasted $3.2 million until there was a light glimmered on a specific bill. But this is at a time where there's black mold in every single corner at Justice Services. Yeah. This is at a time where inmates, you may not agree with what inmates have done, the reason why they're inmates, but you still provide them health care. You still make sure they have clean showers. You still make sure they're not trying to
basic human rights.
Basic human rights. But this county council, because they have not been intuitive enough to attend to the needs of the most marginalized people in St. Louis County, they're thinking, let's just tax. Let's give another $50,000 to our best friend, and then they're going to ask for another tax. Like, are you out of your mind?
Well, that's what
and you've got Amendment 5 on
That's
the
what we were
same ballot.
talking about, because they'll get rid of
Yeah.
one matter. They don't just get rid of something. You cannot get rid of matter. It can transform or recreate matter. I'm not a physicist, but yeah, it goes in one pocket, out the other. And this is too, and this is about line. And then see, you got to pay if you get an online order. Two different accounts.
Extra.
Different. Well, it's different percent. These guys pay 9.7%. And these pay 8.2%.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. Hold on. That's the whole point of shopping online, is because it's cheaper. I support local business 100%. But if I can find that code online for $5, I'm sorry, Elliot, I can't buy your code.
Absolutely.
So I'll get it cheaper
Now, there's-
online.
there's-
And they're going to charge me. I mean,
There's
it'll help
something-
out local business, I guess. Now, if they're charging me so much online purchase, maybe I will have to shop local.
No, you
Now,
most
there's,
definitely going back to
there's,
stores.
yeah, there's something else to remember here. This has been on the ballot before for St. Louis County. In 2022, it failed, and it failed very clearly. The other thing to remember, if you're talking about all these taxes, is that a little bit more than half of the municipalities who are eligible to charge this tax already do it. So the state is charging it, okay? Cities are charging it.
State, county.
The county, it failed in 2022. They're desperate to do this again. And so I think this is a very important one to watch. We have not taken a position on this.
This is a money grab
Yeah,
Of course.
by the county council.
Because every time I go Prime to buy me something, I'm getting taxed extra.
Well, now they got commercials on there, too. Even
I think I might just start back going to the store then.
Well, and they're
go to
trying to use
Blockbuster and get
they're
my
trying to
movie.
use these scare tactics
Right.
to pass this
Yeah,
deal,
and that's
saying we're
wrong.
going to have to lay off people, police officers might get laid off, all of these folks might get hit, services going to be cut. It's like almost like that line out of Ghostbusters where it said dogs and cats living together, but it's like fear mongering the
Yes.
people
Trying
to
to scare
try to
folks.
scare them into voting for this Proposition
That's
U.
crazy, though.
And the county will survive without it, but they're just trying to get their hands on more money to waste.
Money grab.
And they are not, they have not done a good job handling the money we have. How do we
Yeah,
get in a
right.
$40 million deficit in the first place?
And you still want to give raises.
That's why I've been telling him for
And they
years.
still want to give raises.
County
Yeah.
just as bad as we got just as many problems as the city have down here. I've been telling him this for years.
County's worse now.
That's what I'm saying. It's even
Yeah,
it's even crazier.
they're more dysfunctional
It's
than the
even
city.
crazier.
And that's
You're so
hard to
right.
That's hard
imagine.
to.
Right.
That is hard to manage.
The county council, county government is more
why say I
dysfunctional than
want
the
everybody
city.
to come
Wait,
together?
they've had 2 county executives indicted. How
Right.
about that for starters?
Yeah.
Right.
And the former governor, he had Parsons. He had $400,000 in uncharted plane ticket miles.
got
I
away.
saw that too.
Got away with it.
Parsons.
But he can get indicted.
Or, well, I mean, whatever
But
you
I'm
call it, he
saying,
got in trouble.
but in,
yeah.
in St.
that's
Louis
what I'm saying.
County, you've had the last 2 county executives get indicted.
Like a
And
murderer.
obviously that's going to impact their ability to govern in the first place.
Can I talk
And they
about
have
dogs and
already
cats?
been in a huge battle, go ahead, battle
Okay.
with the county council that Maria is running for.
So let me just tell you about my concern about dogs and cats and our animal shelter in
Right.
St. Louis County.
Oh, they're overcrowded. They
well,
waive,
let
adop-
me-
waive-
We got
they waive
problems.
adoption
We
fees.
got problems. Stop it.
Let me just tell you that I came across some audio recently where my opponent, who is the chair of the county council, has been moving and encouraging the increase of euthanization of animals instead of focusing on fostering and adoption, which is very key. Now, if you recall,
I don't think they like that.
it's terrible. If you and
Major claim, man.
in this, well, I got the receipts because I've been passing it out and listening to
hey.
it. But they said, she was saying, her words were, she does not believe that this council wants to invest any money into adoption and into fostering. And anytime, the only mandate, she said, is to take in animals once there's a call. Well, here's the problem. You know, when I was driving around today, I saw 2 animals that I didn't know where their owners were. And you only have 5 days to find the owner. And they're loving animals that are around. We know that those that bite, you know, something has to happen, but like it is wrong policy to say that cats and dogs should automatically be euthanized. And just hearing this is just terrible. So I'm on a mission in the next 3 days to make sure that we have a county council that attends to the needs of not only the St. Louis County Health Department, but especially deals with the needs of the animal shelter.
The voiceless.
And the voiceless, seriously.
Well, one of the problems I have is that the county has focused more on animals than they have on people.
No, they
It's
haven't.
hard to
They
get.
look-
It's hard to get.
Hey,
It's hard to
Wrong
get
one.
them to do anything
I
for the
gotta give
homeless.
both of y'all props 'cause I
that's
feel
true.
both
It's
of
hard.
y'all
It's
coming
hard,
from on
and
there.
I was with
true.
Larry.
Real
I was
talk.
with Reverend Larry Rice when he went out there for 13 straight weeks to the county council to try to convince him to do more for the homeless.
Yeah.
To
I know,
set up,
Elliot,
but they
wanna push
refused.
back, though.
They
Elliot.
refused to. They
Elliot.
refused to do it, and they have done very
do.
little
They
for the
take- they
homeless.
look
And the
at
problem
animals
is just
as a
falling
joke.
on the city. Let me explain. The problem
They
is
do.
falling on the city, and so St. Louis is really shouldering the burden of dealing with the homeless by itself. And people may criticize, and I've criticized Mayor Kara Spence and say you need to do more, but I've also had to balance that because she's doing more than St. Charles County and more than St. Louis County.
Exactly.
Sam Page has done nothing.
Nothing.
The county council has done nothing, and they were worried. They had whole hearings.
just argue with
They
each
had
other all day
hearings
long.
about
They do.
animals. Sam
sorry.
Page wanted to spend $17 million for new shelter for the animals. Fortunately,
Well,
the
instead of
county
getting-
didn't do that.
Now, that's why I
instead
agree
of
with you
something,
100.
Well,
instead of
so-
something for the
100.
homeless, what about people?
Right.
And the
You're
county
right
was
about
dealing
that.
with
and
all
the
these
county
animals.
has not done
I have a
anything about
solution.
that.
I have a
I have seen so many, and we had that conversation the other day because I've seen an increase just in University City where I live of people who are homeless. I have seen just by going door to door, Elliot. I see people in vacant homes, squatters who are just trying to have a roof over their
But the
head.
county
It's
is
a
doing
legitimate
nothing
pro-
about
yes,
it.
you're right.
So
They're
I care
doing
more
nothing.
about the people than the animals.
And I care
I'm
about
saying
the people
I care
and
about
the
animals.
animals.
I
So
care
let's
about-
have the homeless people adopt a pet.
Well,
Booyah.
hey, to
I
be
care
honest,
about animals
that's true.
too, but
what
my
he said
focus
true. They
is
care
on the
about animals
homeless
more than the human
and
being.
people. That's my focus.
The animal get treated better than the human being. in
Now,
space.
you are
Not
right,
in St.
actually.
Louis
I ain't gonna-
County.
that's
the people
everywhere.
and the animals are
I'm just
treated
saying,
terribly.
A human being will pick an animal over another human being any day. I'm sorry.
I
That's
think
sad
you're
to
right
say.
that many
And that's sad
times,
to say.
many
I'm
times
sorry.
animals get
And
better
it's real.
treatment.
They get better treatment than human beings
Not
do.
in St. Louis County.
Yes, they do.
No,
they
I
don't.
agree with you.
The
Not-
animals get treated
no,
better than human beings.
not in St. Louis
Not
County.
in St. Louis County.
Oh man,
Ah.
I'm just saying around the world. Period. They get treated better.
All right,
human
back
beings
to, back to, all
I'm
right,
sorry, they
so,
do.
yeah, we love animals and we love people.
No, but y'all, people love
So that
animals
was
way
problem.
more
Okay,
than
we got
human
C.
beings,
We covered
Bump
C.
that.
We have covered C. We covered U. You got what? Do you got another one on your paper?
Let's see. For me,
Who's-
I
I know who's up
have
next. You got another
County
one, Elliot?
Executive. We kind of hit on that. County Council District 1. Prop C. Prop U.
C and
County
U are both
Executive
bad.
in St. Charles. We already dealt with that. Congressional races, we dealt with that. Amendment 1, we dealt with that. The only
wanna
thing.
give the
Oh, what about the
city some love and talk
recorder of
about every-
deeds?
Yeah, let's
I heard
talk
the
about the city.
The city. Recorder.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
wanna talk
city.
about
There we go.
No, they got her over here doing this
All right.
with her hands.
So what I heard from
I'll talk about the propositions, but you all talk about recorder.
what I heard about the real quick, I heard the recorder of deeds is going to be next in line for mayor though. So it doesn't sound like from a credible source.
The
Murder
outgoing
guy.
one or the one of the candidates?
Well, I mean, just in general, it's a less. It's basically these. I think he's trying to run for mayor. Some of them. So, but
Well, I
Alleged-
think one of the
alleged.
things too, that's interesting
Why is that so
for our
important?
area is that a lot of officials, they got downtown organizations now talking about city county, trying to get city county merger going.
they always talk about
Right.
that, and it failed again.
But this is a new deal.
What
with
you
these groups.
think about
I
this?
am fundamentally and always have been
Against-
against
I know,
the
'cause you're from the-
city-county
yeah,
merger.
Are you
I know.
for real?
Yes,
you're in the
and let
county.
me tell you what.
Because our
No,
city gets screwed over.
Because
Save
you
our
know-
schools.
I want her to
Save
tell
our
you.
schools.
Because I'm gonna
Get
give
your
you my
budget
logic.
together. If you cannot get your budget
Vote
together,
for
in
me,
either
damn it.
St.
I'll
Louis
do it.
City or St. Louis County,
I'll put the cape on,
we are
Elliot.
not going
Sign
to
me
be
up.
incurring anybody else's.
But we both got
default.
problems.
No,
And someone once
clean
said
it up
you
first.
cannot make a good omelet with bad eggs.
No.
See, all the bad eggs moved to the county.
Real
That's what
talk.
happened.
No.
Both
But
the
I'm just
city
saying-
and county are bad.
So,
Period.
what are we
Period.
missing?
So
It used to
how
be
is
a
bringing
time
them
the
together
county was
going to
stellar.
improve things?
Man.
Well, school
No.
system, I guarantee you schools would improve if
And
they
you'll
would
get rid
merge.
of all these,
How?
How?
We'd have kids wanting to go to city schools because this county gets all the money for busing the kids out.
You're talking
Each-
about DSEG, and that's been reduced.
Well, I
You're
know,
talking
but
about-
still, each kid has in the county has that comes from the city has certain price tags that are included with the funding that they get. That's why a lot of kids still go out
So
there.
you saying
Well,
better
I
exit
didn't
I've,
even
I've
better
studied.
funding.
I've studied a couple of cities,
what you're saying?
Nashville and Louisville.
Stop there.
A couple of cities that did actually merge, and those cities actually ended up doing better. Nashville has shot up. Louisville
Right.
has made it, but St. Louis has some unique problems. The main problem in
Say
St.
that.
Louis.
Say that again. Say that
The
again.
main problem in St. Louis is not dealt with is the problem of crime.
crying like a
Right.
bird.
Unless St. Louis deals with crime, it's going nowhere.
And you know what
And
happened?
no one wants to. It's like, do I want to marry a bride with all these issues going on? Not really. And so crime is really the number one issue with these other places that merged. There was not a significant crime problem in those areas, and so there was not really a big fundamental opposition
I
to
just
it.
want to get rid
In
of all
St.
the
in St. Louis, St. Louis is
Get rid of all the
considered.
municipalities.
Yeah.
Why do we got all
Don't
these?
make sure you don't run for office in St. Louis County.
Look,
You will be
I'm just-
voted out.
Look, I want to get
You
rid.
would be
Why do
voted
we
out.
need all these municipalities?
It's
Why do I got to leave from Kinlock and go to Berkeley to go to Ferguson to go to Delwood? Why can't it just be St. Louis police?
you're not going to undo that.
No, never.
anytime
That's
soon.
because we're
I
run by
don't
the
get
state.
that.
We're run by the state anyway. So
I
you
mean,
gotta know.
everybody else is New York, one big city, one big police state.
That's-
Us,
Baltimore
St.
all right,
Louis.
next-
Why
next
can't
time.
St. Louis just be
County.
one big
Our
city?
our
I'm
police chief's
sorry.
from Baltimore, and you said the crime crew. And then what did our voters do? They voted to give the police more money. And where did all that money go? Trickle down. Where the officers that actually need it, that are on the streets, aren't even getting paid. It's going to the chief. He makes over what?
Now the
200 grand a
officers
year?
got an increase of 7%.
$7.
But right now the city is at war with the police department.
Yeah, right.
And
Most of
so
it's going
that's
to
not
the-
helping. St. Louis is still considered one of the most dangerous cities in the United
It's
States.
been like this since I was a kid. Elliot.
And
we have
also St. Louis
resources.
is one of the 3 cities in the United States that's lost the most population
Right.
since
Believe that.
1950.
It
Because the
really
county's
has.
taking it all.
Since
No, that's
1950,
not true.
No.
That's not true.
St. Louis has lost 63% of its population since 1950. We used to be the 4th largest city in the United States. Now we're number like 74.
Oh, my goodness.
We lost like 600,000 people.
You know where they at, Elliot?
Because we're separate. If
They
they
in
were
Atlanta.
together,
Look,
we'd have a
they
bigger.
in Atlanta. They in Texas. And they in
No,
Minnesota.
they're in St.
They
Charles.
everywhere.
St.
No,
Charles.
the population, if you go backwards,
West.
the population, and I'm just speaking of facts, the population from the city first went to St. Louis County, and then as the population increased St. Louis County, they went to St. Charles.
Okay.
That's fact.
That
Yeah,
way. And they went west, then they started Fenton, Eureka, and then started working out that way west. I mean, this population
Wentzville.
expands.
They
It
don't want
goes
nobody
outward.
growth. They Fenton and Eureka, they ain't trying to have no growth. That's the reason why
No,
they
they
don't want
are.
no
They're
apartments.
booming out there.
Well, they don't
They're
want no
booming
apartments.
out
Has
They
your
don't want no
organization
apartments out there.
taken a position on city-county merger?
They have
How do you
not.
feel about it? Is it good or bad? I mean, in
But,
your opinion. I mean,
We have been talking about it.
So what's your thoughts?
yeah, in your opinion, in your personal opinion, you like it? I mean, pros and cons. What you like about it? What you dislike about it?
My personal opinion, disclaimer, not the opinion of the women
Right,
voters.
personal. Yeah, you're right. Right.
Yeah, you made the point. They're dysfunctional, but in different ways.
Right.
Maybe, what's the big
Stepbrothers.
draw for the city to join the county right now?
We'll help them out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We surround
And,
them.
and I,
We
I,
is
I
there.
hear you on
Or
the
for
little
what's the big draw for the county to
municipalities,
join the
but
city?
To your point, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, if we
It's
could
not
Say it
gonna
like that too,
happen.
Elliot.
merge, at
That's
least
not gonna
merge.
I mean, you
happen.
know how many areas
There
they
is
got in the
nothing
county?
that you
Some
can-
of those.
Yeah,
It would be
that's
so much more
idealistically, but
efficient.
you're talking to a
I know.
person who represented
I
at
know.
one time 41 municipalities.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
As a,
41.
as a state senator,
Yeah.
and as someone who is
You don't think
running,
that's too many?
and as someone who's running for county council, who will be representing 39 municipalities, it's not going to happen, no
Right.
matter how much you want it
Yeah.
to happen.
I
Now,
know.
here's what I would
No one
say.
wants to give up power.
Here's
Right.
what
Right.
because
They've
they
got
all
their
have
own little
fiefdoms.
fiefdoms,
Right.
and they
Yes.
don't want to give it up,
Yeah.
no matter. It could be for the. Didn't they
Why-
try
so
that
why
once?
say-
I'm trying to
So
say that.
Go ahead.
So we had the Board of Freeholders. In 1988, 1989, we had the Board of Freeholders, and it was about the conversation of reducing the number of municipalities. Now, it ended
Right,
up going
right.
all the way to the Supreme Court, and it was eventually thrown out because of this very racist section of the Constitution where every member of that ongoing Board of Freeholders had to be a property owner. And that, just because of that technicality, it was thrown out as not being equitable representation. So, but they were in agreement, let's reduce the number of municipalities from, at that time it could have been 89, 90 municipalities down to like 37 or 39 municipalities. And it all passed, but for when it was challenged, there was one person who was not I don't want to say that. It was thrown out of the Supreme Court because of the inequitable laws that was in our Constitution at the time.
Right.
I remember municipalities fighting this thing tooth and nail.
Right.
That's what I
Oh,
remember.
yeah, of
Because you have a bunch of mayors and
Greedy.
councils. Nobody wants to give up power. So
That's
even
what
if
I
you
understand.
are an area with 2,000 residents, well, that's your kingdom.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to give up. Nobody wants to give up power,
a couple
even
of-
if it's for
yeah.
the greater good. Go ahead.
A couple of things. First of all, I've been doing ballot issues for all these little tiny municipalities for
Man.
12 years. Okay,
I'm sick
so
of
I
it.
talk to all these folks, and it's not just power. It's much more, I think, about identity and sometimes misplaced sense of self-control. Particularly if you think about the origin of these towns.
Yes,
Okay?
thank you.
We have a number in from Elmwood Park to all kinds of places where you had traditional late 19th century, early 20th century, and then the 1950s black middle class communities. Okay? They got destroyed. They got quote unquote blighted when they weren't. It's true also of white communities and ethnic communities who cling to trying to have control over their own identity. So I don't think it'll happen. However, as you give the examples of Louisville and Nashville, I too have studied those. And it seems to me that the way it is true the way they started, and I think the way we could start is to start looking at combining services. Because it's very interesting
The
all
airport.
these little towns
Right.
that I work with that want to fund all of their own police
And they
officers.
can't do it.
And they can't do it. They're starting
Flat
to
out.
do North County Cooperative.
out.
Those are all
They're
corruption,
starting
too.
to
A
do
lot of those are.
contracts.
Right.
I think the best thing to do is to start looking at what services could be combined and
Just
see
one.
how it works.
And that's happened to a certain
Make it
degree.
one.
So if you're talking about 24-1,
Right.
so that the
Right.
24 municipalities that all have the same zip code,
Yes.
they've done that. And as a state senator, I remember meeting with the municipal mayors on a quarterly basis, always asking them, how are you combining your services? So they did things like combine their purchasing for salt, or combine their cleanup, or their just multiple things at a municipal level. But that is not the entire St. Louis County.
No.
That's just one zip code of
My
24
point
municipalities.
Exactly.
But it's very hard. It's a start, and it's been happening. It's been over a decade now since they've been doing that.
Well, and let's talk about this because things are getting a lot more complicated.
yeah.
I did a bunch of ballot issues for, I'm trying to remember the name of the town that's in St. Charles County, that's up on a Flint Hill.
Oh yes, I used to go
Oh,
ride
my
my bike
gosh.
back there.
Flint Hill, I actually went out there and looked at the sewer system where the houses are up here
That
and the
is
water is up
dedication.
here and the sewer system is down here. And I said, this is crazy. All of those kinds of things, water, all of those kinds of things are getting so complicated that these little towns cannot do it. It's past now the zip codes and the ordering of supplies. For example, there is a ballot issue on this August ballot for Hazelwood Fire District.
I think I saw
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Good.
Hazelwood has 3 different fire districts in their town.
Overkill?
It starts.
what
It
you're saying?
started from years
planning.
ago.
It started years ago.
Decades.
Do they need that
And
many? What's the population?
clinging tenaciously. Well, the population is about 20.
It comes
20,000.
down
Yeah.
to the revenue.
they
I
have?
want to say it
Robertson?
comes down
Revenue.
to
Robertson, Hazelwood,
Wood.
and Ferguson,
Yes,
Florissant.
yes.
That's it.
But let me tell you about the
But it's a
Robertson.
mess.
But it's a mess, and it's been going back and forth. But I can tell
The
you
citizens
that
are winning.
I can tell you that the first African American fire chief is from Robertson. And I will tell you that's why I would want to maintain a Robertson, because that is the community where they had a landfill that was burning because of radioactive waste.
Oh, that's
And
all.
that
Right.
he just died, Leon.
Right.
Leon Hayes.
That's true.
He was the first African American in the state of all of Missouri.
Right.
That's hard to do.
And you're erasing that history.
No, I totally agree with you. And here's the other history I get when I go out there and talk to these fire chiefs. And I've talked to them a ton. And that is the racist history that we have.
Yes.
When you have I'm not going to name this fire district, but if you have a fire district that's not very good, its history is it started because a white fire district 3 miles away from it wouldn't take care of black folks.
Check.
Absolutely. And so I'm saying that is that history. And people are clinging
And
to
it's
be
the
able to
revenue.
control
It's the
and the
revenue.
revenue.
So this is okay. This is straight up history. So years ago in the 1950s, and we're talking about Robertson next to Kinloch, right?
Yes.
We're talking about everything for me, in service to people of color and the most marginalized groups of people in St. Louis County comes down to Robertson.
Okay.
It was, because of the airport, the richest area. So when it came to schools, you had all of these different school districts. You had the Kinloch School District. You had the Berkeley School District. You had Ferguson that was separate from the Florissant School District. Because of the area, it was the richest municipal area ever, right? And so when, in the 1970s, when school districts started merging, everyone wanted to hold on to Robertson. I want a piece of Robertson. You know why? Because Robertson is right next to the airport.
Right.
It was the Scudder School District. Y'all don't even know about the Scudder
And
School
McDonnell
District.
Douglas.
It was the richest the richest school district in the entire area, and it was run by black people, right?
Yes.
So when it comes to the fire district that's adjacent to the airport, yet again, it's about the money that goes into that fire district. So when I'm just speaking about the erasure of the history of Robertson and the people of Robertson who live in District 1, who live in District 4, who live in District 2. They had to have their own fire department because they had a burning landfill with everything from Wagner Electric, from McDonnell Douglas, which was just Boeing now, and it was just McDonnell back in the day. You had all of these various corporations that were dumping into this landfill in the middle of an African American town where 80% of the people literally either got cancer or died from cancer, got really strange and rare autoimmune diseases, and there were people who tried to walk through this landfill and just like died instantaneously. But the thing that they had was the Scudder School District, which ended up going into the fold of Kinloch, which ended up going into the fold of ultimately Ferguson Florissant. But everybody was trying to take it, and I remember there were two overtures of the Hazelwood community, the Hazelwood city, the city of Hazelwood. Two overtures. One was in the 1980s, where they wanted to accrue Robertson because of the tax base in Robertson. They only got a portion of Robertson. It was the eastern side of Lindbergh. Then in the early 2000s, they wanted to get the other side of Robertson, which they were successful at in 2002.
That's what McDonald does in all them.
It was only because of the amount of revenue that was going into that fire district or that was going into that municipal area. And that's what this fight is right now. It's no different. No one's telling you the truth, maybe because they don't know the history, but the fact that there's so much revenue, that is really what this fight is about. And it's been the same fight, I can tell you. So let's just go back for at least 6 decades now. 6 decades, this fight over the fire departments, this fight over the school districts has all been about revenue. And Hazelwood has been predatory for decades now. Someone told them, way back then, 70 years ago, you want to accrue this area over here because of the tax base. Oh, you want to accrue this area because of the tax base. And what happened in the end is that people lost their homes.
Everything.
People lost their identity with the school district that they went to.
Everything.
They lost their identity to culture. And the only thing that we have, one of the only things that we have left is Kinloch. And look at the shape that we have right now. And so when people go to vote, the reason why it's so important to know about these ballot measures is because of the history that it carries, the people that you belong to, and just the fact, I'm going back to Rika. It's not enough. Rika's not enough. It's not enough for what happened to the people in these areas. It's not enough the racism that people had to endure. The fact that St. Louis County was part of that. They're the ones who approved of that landfill. Just imagine. There's an entire group of people who live in District 1, live in District 4, who live right in the middle of where this landfill was, and it was the county.
And they still let anybody move over that way still.
So let me just tell you, I have the picture from 1953. Human-sized picture on the back of my door when you walk into my house. And it is of the person, he was the health director at the time, who was shaking hands with the person who was going to operate this landfill. And what it did is just dehumanize these families. It got these families sick. I mean, can you imagine?
What year was that, you said?
1953. It was called the Kent Landfill. Yeah. And the reason why you should know who Kent is, his name is Richard Kent, and he was one of the 3 owners of the Negro Baseball League. And after his wife died, she is the one, Zeola Kent, who agreed to have this landfill open up with the support of McDonnell Douglas back then.
Yeah, that's when they moved in.
Of McDonnell Douglas. Wagner Electric needed a place to dump. You had the old Boeing McDonnell Douglas. You had, you even have Russell Bliss.
Oh, here we
who
go.
was getting rid of.
Who don't know about the snitch going down 70, going down the way?
So
It's been like that for
that's a
years.
different landfill.
Kent
That's a
landfill?
different landfill. It's called the Kent landfill, and there are very few pictures
Oh, Kent,
of Kent
K-E-N-T?
landfill.
K-I-T-T.
No,
Oh.
it's K-E-N-T. It's
Oh.
named after
K-E-N-T.
Richard Kent.
Okay.
Richard
Oh.
Kent is who was the owner of this land, and then he died, and then his wife Zeola. I'm writing a book about this. That's why I know.
Good.
Dang, look at that. Oh, barrels.
So
in
that
there.
right there, those barrels are right across Lindbergh. That is what you call Robertson. That's part
Right.
of Robertson.
They just
back
shoved
the
them in
day.
the hole, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go away, right,
Yeah.
Elliot? Just put them in the hole. They'll go away.
And
We can put those in our sinkhole downtown under the bridge, right? They'll fill them up. No,
so
probably not. No.
so what
Okay.
these little districts and
Wow.
you and I are on the same page about this as we're talking about it.
That's crazy.
See is they couldn't control being annexed into the city. They couldn't help what was going on with the school districts. But they care fiercely about emergency services because those little districts are their safety belt. Those little districts sometimes provide basic medical care, not just if you have a heart attack. They provide basic medical care, and people are desperately hanging on to that control.
I mean,
Are you
just-
right? And that's one of the reasons that they've had so much difficulty trying to get. And when you try to look at the city and county coming together, it is just right now the areas are just diametrically opposed. When you look at what's going on in the city, for example, Mayor Kara Spencer had war with the police department.
Hey, war.
So
man.
you said, why would
Super
St.
war.
Louis
Well, with the
County-
whole state, too. I
Why
think,
would
to
St.
take
Louis
over.
County want to even deal with that?
Exactly.
Because you have the mayor of the city of St. Louis as well as the alderman. They're at war with the police department, and the state controls the police department
Right, yeah.
now anyway. And so that would be a challenge. The county couldn't control
don't
the
know how
police
that would
department
work,
because
yeah.
the state controls it.
So the
and
county
so
is
there's
controlled by
So,
state
so
too.
the state would have to approve,
No,
though.
the county's
Listen,
not
I
doing
thought
it.
so.
No.
See, that's what. See, and that's another man.
So why are county cops so
You
more
got to bring it all
strict? Why are they so strict?
I'm sorry.
I got pulled over in Bella Villa for allegedly running a stop sign.
So strict, some people would say not strict enough.
You gotta get
It
rid of all
depends
these
on where
You're
you
not
are.
supposed to run a stop sign.
Yeah.
Well, if I would have
and
seen
that's
it,
the
I
other-
would have stopped if I would have seen
And
it.
gotta
I
get rid of all
think
these
where
mistakes.
you're
It was a
talking
sneak-
about, it's notorious. Actually,
Yeah,
that's a
see?
notorious
Yeah.
location.
Let's go fight it. Let's go
I
fight
think
it.
one,
Elliot. I
one,
don't want
like
to
I
pay
said,
that
one of the
ticket.
problems, St. Louis has to deal with crime first.
Right.
before anything.
And that's the black eye that it
But we're
has.
300. We're 300 officers short, right?
We're 300 officers short,
Approximately.
but we're still considered one of the most dangerous cities in the United States. We had 140 homicides last year, but I did a whole look at this thing, and there are cities bigger than St. Louis that had 20 or
Right.
10
Right.
homicides, and they try to say we're making progress. No, we're not, because we have about the same number of homicides this year as we had last year.
It's just as bad.
It's just as bad.
It's just as
so we're not
bad.
really making progress, but
Real
that's
talk.
because the progressives who run this city don't want to focus on the problem of crime
So
or not
how
supportive
she-
really of law enforcement.
So that's what I'm saying.
And
How
so,
she getting into it with the police?
the progressives have
I know they want her gone.
well, the progressives have not been real big on law enforcement.
Man, you can't.
And
You
I
gotta
always
have
said,
that.
I always said a lot of the leaders care more when the criminals' rights are
It's a
violated
careful
than when
balance.
they care more about when the criminals' rights are violated
Hey,
than they do when the
you right.
honest, law-abiding
but if you ask
citizens
the
are
criminals-
killed.
Criminal,
So
you
you don't
sure
see them
right.
call a news conference
sure right.
when the innocent person is killed, like the lady who got killed at the Starbucks
Yeah,
buying a
that's
cup of
sitting in the-
coffee.
sitting in
Well,
the-
you
I
don't
remember
see
that,
them
yeah.
calling a news conference over that, or in St. Louis County, North County, when the woman was working at the Steak and Shake,
Right.
and the person. You don't see news
Right.
conferences about that. You don't see county officials, North County officials, state or local mayors or whatever, coming and talking about that. But let something happen to a criminal.
Boy,
No, so Elliot, I want to
Let
push
them
back on
believe that a
that.
criminal's
Elliot,
rights are violated. they come
I
out of the.
want to push
I
back on
covered
that
these
because
stories. I
they're
covered these
everyday
stories.
people
They,
who want to
they,
have police in their community.
they come out of the woodwork. The elected officials come out of the woodwork to talk about that situation when there's a perception that the criminals' rights are violated. They'll come out of the woodwork and talk about it when honest citizens are killed and gunned down.
On an everyday basis.
Oh yeah.
Crickets.
Well, crime is a problem.
I got crickets on here.
Crime is a huge problem, but I want to push back and say there are everyday people who want to have police officers going down their streets. There are people who call their police officers for support because they're nervous about the people who are walking in and out of their alleys or in their backyards every single day. So I understand there are a segment of people who care about the rights of inmates, and I care about the humanity of how people are treated, but there are also people who want and desire their police officers in their neighborhood and look up to their police officers in the neighborhood.
I'm talking about elected officials.
Elected officials.
And I'm saying that from what I've seen, from where I sit in my 45 years of covering news, is that officials got up in arms when it seemed as if a criminal's rights were violated or police excess. Those are the two things that got them going. When innocent family got killed or something like that, crickets. Nobody said anything about that. And so I think that, but what we do have some communities, we do have communities where there are elected officials that care about law enforcement and care about what happens to innocent citizens.
Right.
Those are St. Charles County and Madison County, Illinois. Now they care about law enforcement.
I told you.
They care
Oh,
about
I see that look. I see that look.
they care about law
understand how
enforcement. They care
Yeah.
about innocent citizens.
Well,
They care whether innocent citizens are getting
gotta
gunned
agree
down.
with him.
And so what they say is
gotta
that they
agree
let
with him.
people know that what they do is they let the bad guys know that you're not welcome in
And he
our town.
not lying.
You're not welcome
He
here.
is not lying.
Well-
St. Louis City, North County,
They
they
just
say,
smack you in your head.
criminals, you're welcome. Come
well,
on in."
well, it's a little bit more complicated than that, isn't it?
It is sad to say that, but he
Because
ain't lying.
it's a little bit more complicated than that.
No, it's not.
About-
Mayor Spencer
Hang it.
did not even mention crime in her state of the
Okay.
city
But
He's
address.
not my mayor.
I'm not. I don't want to talk about candidates, but let me say that the conversation is also
hasn't
about
talked
the
about that.
causes of crime, and people, ordinary people in their alleys, also want somebody to come and deal with the violently mentally ill person in their neighborhood.
Right.
I was trying to recycle in the alley, but it wasn't there.
They want people to have housing. So
The county
I'm saying
council
it's
wouldn't
complicated.
even pass the bill to help deal with crime in St. Louis County. There's a bill that's been sitting on the council's desk for
Oh,
about
I
a year.
agree. I'm with you on
And
that.
the
Hey,
county council
high five
has
on
not
that.
even
Yeah,
passed
let's
that
agree.
bill
Well,
But
to
high
try
five on
million
this
dollars.
other
to
stuff.
try to make the county safer.
$1.7 million
They
and
want
it's
the
been on
crime
the
area.
calendar for 2 years.
Crime
It's
pays.
inexcusable. It is inexcusable that this council has not been
I'm
able
sorry.
to move a measure to reduce crime for 2 years. Meanwhile, people are being victimized. I get that. I understand that. But that's why I'm running too.
But they care about dogs.
Ah.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
They care about that. Yes,
do.
they do.
No, they
Elliot,
don't.
you're not lying. I thought I was the only one that felt like that.
This council
I
does
thought I
not
was the
care
only
about
one
dogs.
that felt like that. They most definitely care about the dog. They care about dogs more than anything. I feel sorry for the cats because the cats is they getting pushed out because of the dog. The dogs rule everything.
You need
Everybody
your,
loves
you
Lucy.
Need your own show.
They rule.
You need your own Chappelle
They
show.
rule everything.
But Maria, you will
They
agree
do.
with me on most things that I say.
I
can
disagree
tell
with
that.
a lot. I
Yeah,
disagree
we
with
don't
a lot.
disagree with a lot.
No,
We
but
don't
I
disagree
believe
on
that
many
people
things.
and animals are important.
Ms. Maria,
I believe both.
you
of
got
them.
to admit.
And I can tell you, there is.
But we gotta
Elliot,
give the
we've
focus
seen this,
to
we've seen
people.
some of
I
the
care
same.
about animals,
We've seen the
but we
same.
gotta make the major focus people. Let's understand.
It's both of them.
Maria,
It's
let's
both of
understand.
them.
No,
Elliot.
people are the priority. The
I wish I had some
homeless
violin
are the
music.
priority.
Let me get some violin
The
music.
homeless
Hold
is a
on.
priority over the animals.
It most
Because
definitely
the
is.
homeless are people.
It
Maria.
most definitely
We have
is.
to care more about people.
Humans come before animals.
You will
I'm
agree
sorry.
with me on that. I'm
I
sorry.
am
care
sorry.
about living things.
I am sorry. I care about living things too. I don't want nothing to happen to the dog. But don't no human being come before don't no dog come before no
Look
human
at this
being.
poor dog.
I'm
Look
sorry.
at- You are scaring
But what
this
about
poor
the
dog.
people?
Look at this poor dog right here.
Oh,
Where's
she
this
can-
dog?
If we go over there and take
Lucy,
a, if we was to go over there right now and take a
Lucy,
picture, who you think
Elliot
she's gonna
doesn't
be?
like you.
She's gonna be the first one in the picture.
No,
Oh,
we care
shit.
about dogs, but in St. Louis County, they've done nothing for the people, for the
There's
homeless.
nothing for the people
For-
or the
for-
dogs.
for the homeless.
They have been
No,
making the,
well,
the
they-
animal
they-
shelter the
You
butt
have to
of
change that.
No,
You
no,
have to
no.
change
Hold
that.
on,
They
let me
had
get some vi-
hearings for the dogs.
You gonna have to change that. Real
We need some
talk.
sad
But
violin
Elliot,
music
you got
here.
a point on that. You got a point on that one. No fair. That's really.
Okay,
and-
when you get your voter
Hey,
registration
hold on,
card,
hold
when
on.
you get your voter registration card, I'll listen.
Hold on, I got to do my public
Yeah.
service
Give it to
announcement.
me
Hold
now.
on, Philly For just 99 cents a day, you can help your homeless and your animals. Please give today for Justin's Caring Program. Okay, that's all. That's my sad violin.
I hope you ain't.
All right, continue.
I hope you ain't doing.
I'm not. Hey,
Don't rob the peoples.
hey, I'm gonna use the money for what it's for.
Don't rob the peoples, man. We got a lot of that going on right now. Don't rob the peoples.
All right, we got
And we
about
do
we
need
got about
more
10
police.
minutes. We got about 10 minutes left.
On
Elliot,
the streets.
So
All right, we got-
you
let's
need
do
to
one more-
go
one more
vote
round.
for the people that are going to do
He
that.
can't-
I
he
was
She's
a
can't
right.
vote,
so I
She's
can't do that.
right.
I was a
Yeah.
criminal.
If you get off papers, yes,
You
you
can.
can. Yes, you can
Yes,
vote.
you can.
his vote doesn't matter.
Don't ever say that.
Everybody.
Every vote
Womp,
matters.
womp.
Don't ever say that.
He got to make his vote matter first. He got to pay attention to
When
what's
you
going
That's why I
get
write
off,
myself
Both of
when
you,
get off your
everybody
He
papers-
don't
I
even
write
know what's
myself
going
in.
on.
When you get off your papers,
Yeah.
you can vote.
You
and
can.
not for and you know what? There is a gentleman by the name of Andre Anderson. If I didn't speak up for him, he was once a felon. He was once on papers, and he is a voter in every single election.
Let's don't make
and
that
he,
excuse for me not voting. I'm not making that excuse.
okay.
What
I
is your
told you, I
excuse?
just don't deal with both sides. I just like to see them. It's just comical what goes on
But,
between
we,
Democrats
but let
and
me tell you
Republicans.
something. The
It's
most
comical.
important vote is the vote of someone who had his voting or her voting rights taken
Right,
away.
understand that.
That's
Most
not the
definitely.
most important vote.
Oh,
But
there
I'm
we
not-
go.
This vote
Yes.
is
Hold on.
important.
Because they
Hold on,
had
hold
their
on.
votes and their rights
No,
taken
I understand
away.
what
For
you're
some
saying.
fair decision that they
I
made.
understand. Nah, what she's saying, you got a point.
All right, we got 10
But
minutes. I'm gonna break up our
I
one
done
time.
got
You
to an age
all right,
where
hold on, hold on.
it's never meant nothing in my life.
All right, hold on. We got one more. You got anything else?
Voting
Yeah,
matters
so-
for
so
everyone.
one,
basic-
more, one more time around real quick and then we're out of
So,
here.
so basically, what I think the most important issue to me is the first congressional district race between Wesley Bell and Cori Bush. Cori Bush is endorsed by the Democratic Socialists
Yeah, that's right.
of
Democratic.
America. This is going to be key, I think, to see will the socialists keep the momentum going, or will this be a setback for them? The county executive's race, obviously, that's very important.
Yeah.
And we believe that Angela Walton Mosley has made a big difference in that race
right.
with Brian Williams, who was looked
Right.
at as the front runner in the
Man.
beginning. Angela got in. Now Jake Zimmerman, he has a shot at it.
Man.
Last poll said Zimmerman's
Real
ahead,
talk.
but of course his campaign paid for that
Who you
poll.
think-
But Angela has made a true difference, and so now it's anybody's guess who's going to win. And in St. Charles County, obviously, you got Steve Ellman, Bill Eigel, you got Jason Law, but people are looking at Ellman and Eigel to see how that one's going to turn out.
See how that
Ellman,
one
I
goes.
think, has done a good job
Yeah.
in his 20 years as
No, he most definitely
county
have.
executive. I
most
think
definitely have.
crime is down in St. Charles County. It's really low, one of the lowest in the St. Louis area. They've had a lot of development and everything
Yes,
that's occurred
they
there.
have.
But Eigel has a lot of support in St. Charles. Don't know how that one's going to turn out. Last thing I'm going to say, Prop C. Vote
Prop
no.
C, no.
'Cause
We
that's
don't
to
like
give
C.
the county council the power to give raises to their buddies. They tried to give the
Yeah.
future county executive a $55,000 raise,
Man.
hiking the salary from
Man.
$140,000 to
Yeah.
$195,000. Brian Williams was in the lead at that point. He's got some supporters on the council, Rita Days and Shalonda Webb, who Maria is running against Rita Days. I will say that.
It
one
was
you
a
running
message.
against?
Go ahead. You
And then,
finish.
and then you also, right? You
weird.
said you. We don't like you either, right?
Huh? No.
Opposition you.
I'm going to let her talk about you.
Look at me.
But Prop C,
I
thought you
vote
wanted-
no on Prop C
Who you
because
running against?
that
Oh.
will give them
Ready
the
to-
power
I don't like to
to,
mention my opponent's
yeah.
name.
Vote for
That
Yeah.
old lady.
I didn't say those words.
The old short lady sit
She's
down in the
elderly.
chair.
You call them elderly, not old, Fellington.
She, that's the one that sit down. Seems like she talked the biggest trash.
Well, that's all right.
Well, that's why I'm running, because I believe that we should have new energy, people who are looking at the issues
Sam really
to help
get rid of
to
Sam really want to get rid of
to
her.
help
So you
out
don't know what's going on in the county.
the
B.
most
It's
marginalized
funny.
and vulnerable people who live in our area.
Yeah.
I am running because laws need to be made
Most
to
definitely.
benefit the most marginalized, as I said. I am running because I know that we still have a lot of issues that deal
Okay.
with the environment and they're tied to people's health. I am running because I care about the health of all of the people who have
Okay.
lost access because of the big ugly bill that passed last year. There are hundreds of people who will be losing access to Medicaid
Right.
at the end of this year because of the big ugly bill. There are thousands of people who have lost access to their health care and health insurance because of that bill as well. They had the ACA and it's no longer affordable
Say not
because
affordable.
of the higher premiums and the higher deductibles.
The Unaffordable
And
Care Act.
They're unaffordable
It's
Care
most
Act, as
exactly
he
what it
said.
is.
But let me tell you, we have 2 healthcare facilities in St. Louis County, District 1. No other district has 2 healthcare facilities. And it's important and incumbent upon the person who holds that seat to invest in the people, especially because they have been pre-exposed to radioactive waste and dioxin. Let's not forget about that. Let's not forget about all the corporations that just freely dumped around in multiple places, and then homes and schools were built on top of that.
No
mess.
But
accountability.
people steady moving over there.
Well, they're not
People
informed.
don't
That's
know.
why,
They're
they
not
don't-
informed
yeah.
because this council does not want to inform people
Right, of course not.
about their environment. And it
Man.
doesn't seem sexy to talk about the
Yeah,
environment,
you don't.
but it does
Man.
impact your health, and that is
Right.
why I'm running. Just because we have REGA doesn't mean that people are not ongoingly exposed to environmental hazards that impact our future.
So you saying Josh Hawley even though he did something, he ain't did enough, huh?
He can't do what needs to be done at the county level, and only
I
I
gotta
can do
dig
that.
Josh. Josh go to work though. He gotta
And let's
go to
do
work.
more for the
Gotta
homeless.
dig. Yeah, right.
Let's do more
Homeless
to
and
help
animals.
the homeless.
Okay.
All right, next, moving
Ladies.
along. Final
So
topics.
what's my favorite thing? It's like picking my favorite child here, but I got to say I think Amendment 4. That's the
important.
one that's the real threat to the people power.
You don't like that
Right.
either? I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Yeah.
But let me say though, the most important thing of all is that you go vote. You
Right.
got to participate.
Right.
You know, otherwise.
Or you
don't-
educate people. At least
Don't
what's
come
going
to
on.
me
I would
bitching
never
about
argue.
how much you hate it if you did not
Right.
participate.
That's right.
And you know, you can vote Monday, but you got to remember to take your photo ID because you can't vote a provisional ballot early.
Right.
So you got to remember to take your photo
Well,
ID.
you always need it regular.
And
Yeah.
I will say also, check your voter registration because this new map that they're using for this primary, you know, it's the one where it was all in the news that they're
They was
splitting
cheating.
Kansas
They
City into
cheating.
3. It does not just affect Kansas City. The changes are much smaller on this side of the state, but here at the League, we've had people calling us saying, I just got my sample ballot. Why am I voting for Bush Bell? I'm in Ann Wagner's district, and vice versa, because some of those boundaries
Man.
have changed.
Yeah.
So go check it at the Secretary of State's website so that you know what to expect. And,
Ooh.
you know, a plug here, vote411.org is the League of Women Voters voter guide. And, you know, you heard Kathleen say she's worked on ballot issues for 12 years. All that information that she researches goes into Vote 411. So have a look and read in plain English what you're going to be asked
Boy, these
to vote
Republicans,
on.
they changed the rules in the middle of the game. That's what they did. They changed the rules in the middle of the game, boy.
But
Flat
it
out.
affected
You cold.
almost every district
cold,
in Missouri.
boy.
It's not just a Kansas City thing.
They cold,
so check
boy.
it.
They straight changed the rules of the game in the middle of the game.
Well, they're trying. Well, they're trying to do the
They
pay
cold,
increases in the
boy.
middle.
They cold. I ain't gonna lie, they cold.
That's unconstitutional.
You right.
Right.
You right, and I agree with you. That's cold, and you can get away with it too.
Well,
Oh, you cold.
All right. One more. What's your main takeaway, or what's your main focus? As far as
okay,
your
I
opinion?
agree about 4, but I really care, I think, most about 5.
4 and 5.
I think it destroys the ability of the state to take care of its people. I just do. and I think that's very important. The other thing that I would say is that all of these questions that people have about voting, from the district to whatever it is, if you get on Vote 411 and that's what we do at the Post-Dispatch, it's going to get over 300,000 hits this election. It'll also tell you what district it is. All you have to do is get in there, put your address in. It tells you exactly what all your districts are.
There you go. I'll put it on.
It
I'll
shows
put it on
you
that website,
exactly
too.
what your ballot is. It has the information on all of the candidates who
Yeah.
turned it in and all of the ballot issues. It's one-stop shopping.
Okay.
And also remember that if you're in St. Louis County or St. Louis City, you can vote any polling place.
Any polling place.
Any polling place. So if you're on your way to picking up your kid at childcare, or you're going to take your mother to the doctor, or you're coming home from work, go to any polling place.
But they don't say that though. They make it seem like city got to stay in the city and
Well,
the county
no.
got to stay
No,
in
no,
the
no,
county.
not
you
that,
do.
not
Yeah, you
that.
do. Yeah.
But within
In
the
the
city.
county.
Okay.
They
Both
just send
the
you the one
county
closer to
and
your
the
house.
city.
Yeah.
Not everybody else is like that. St. Charles isn't like that yet. Okay? But I'm just saying you can go anywhere, and I think we've all had enough at every level of government, so let's do something about it. Let's do
I
something
mean,
about
just
it.
put common sense. It's common sense.
No, common sense is not very common. You
No,
know
that's
that.
what I'm saying. But it's common sense.
Uncommon
being
sense.
a politician should be able to be a common sense.
Should.
job.
He said
It
should.
It
Shoulda,
should.
coulda, woulda.
I mean, it should.
Those
be a
favorite
common sense
words,
job.
right? Shoulda,
'Cause,
coulda,
I'm
woulda.
seeing, they seeing the same thing I'm seeing. When I'm riding down 70 and I can build a car off the side of 70.
There's a whole dining room set on the side of Highway 70. Half a couch.
I can build
Half a couch,
whole
a bumper
car
if you need
off
one.
the side of 70
Sell you a
highway.
bumper.
That is.
And
that
that's-
is. I'm talking. Hold on, no. No, it's ludicrous, B.
It is.
Because
No,
when
I
people
know, I
coming
agree.
from other cities,
That's the first
and
thing
ride
they
through
see.
St. Louis,
The whole
first thing
highway-
Go back home and say, "Oh man, that highway was junk."
Pothole City.
Yes.
We got a sink. They got
That's
the whole.
not
They got the whole
good.
express ramp shut
That's
down.
not
still.
good.
Like, what's going
it's
on
not
here?
good, B. It's not good.
And that's
Real
just
talk.
the tip of the iceberg too.
When y'all ready for some real action to get in there and let me like that, I'll just tell y'all the truth. But y'all ain't ready for
Well, there
it,
you go.
though,
Cool. Cool. We'll make
That's
our way
all I
one
get.
more way back around. Appreciate the panel,
definitely.
everybody coming in, and we're not gonna tell you what to do. We're just gonna tell you what's going on there. We'll tell you our opinions. We'll at least inform you what's going on. Mr. Davis, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, they can reach me on Facebook. That's the easiest way. Elliot Davis TV. I now have about 217,000 followers.
There you go, Mr. Popular
it's
over
easy to
there.
reach me.
All right.
Hey, he's doing his thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he's supposed to do.
Where you at, ma'am? What are we doing?
I am on Facebook with my government name, Maria Chappelle Nadal, but you can also get me at Maria4FOR St. Louis.com.
I never scroll past you
All
a whole
right.
lot of times. You know that.
Young
She
ladies,
said the whole
young
night.
ladies
Yeah.
over there, how do they get a hold of you and your
Best
organization?
way to get a hold of us is through our website, lwvstl.org.
All right. Fellington, you got, hi.
Same
Say,
thing.
you got any
Also,
shout outs? You got any shout outs out there?
I'd say, get out and vote.
Yeah,
I'm
your
gonna-
fans.
Yep.
And we're going to be not only working the polls as poll workers, and Victoria's doing that. I'm an election protection roving deputy up in North City, and our goal is for nobody to walk away from a polling place on election day without casting a ballot. So I've had lots of people lately in these 19 places I've gone say to me, well, I haven't changed my driver's license yet, but I still live in the city. And I say, go to the polling place.
Yep.
And if they say something to you, you come out and get one of us, and we're going to make sure that you vote at least a provisional ballot. But you're not going to go away without casting a vote. That's what I'm doing on
So you
election
can't walk
day.
up out of here without nothing.
You can't. You
That's
gotta walk
right.
past her first. You gotta take
That's
them out.
right.
That's right.
That's right.
They got it on Depot lockdown all day long.
All right, Fellington.
Y'all already know. King, my albums in store. Go get all 20 of them. I'm around the world, flat out.
What's up, Justin King at My City, My Music, best radio station in the world. We don't need no stinking awards. If you don't like it, give me a call. We'll talk about
We
it.
do want an award.
We got
Yes, we do. We've
next
been trying
week.
to win for the longest.
All right, next Saturday we got my album release party coming out. So if
Yeah,
you want
right.
to check out, I got a new album coming out on the 15th.
Where we at here?
Yeah. So we'll be reviewing some songs, telling you what you think. I'm gonna get Elliot on a feature here. We'll see what's going on. Talk about it. Appreciate our wonderful panel today. And we'll see y'all. We got Gloves Off coming up next. Make sure you vote.
Data center money. Data center money.
Oh yeah, the data center. They approved that after 11 hours of.
It's been a beautiful week, y'all. Yeah, love.
Starting at zero, trying to get the hero, trying to get
Y'all gave me what I wanted to hear today.
You got me hyped up, man. Like your energy, like I needed to take a chill pill before I came.
I can see all this stuff what's going on.
But the way that you describe a certain person. You
No, I pay attention. That's all I
you
say.
had me talking street now. You had me talking street.
Tell her I'm sorry. But
All right, guys, over there. Look at Kev. Got a good one?
I'm gonna take the lead. I suggest that you follow. Fight against the odds. Danger and adversity. Courage and sacrifice for all of humanity. Electromagnetic energy is useless. Moral existence left in the past tense. Got to be powerful. Great men in history. Want to join corruption? Let's join the military. Most sharks swim. Rest of us drown. Rise to the top and bring this thing, crush it down. Remodel the society. The system has them wrong. Negative influence. Rise above, make the strong. Develop the community. Methods get the brush off. Start with the city, state, country, and the world. Bring back the middle class. What you really care? A hopeless quest. I'll see you when I get there. Larger than life, but where are the riches? Ordinary person, extraordinary circumstances. Call me a hero, don't call me a role model. I'm in a fast lane, I'm going full throttle. I'm feeling like a ship jam stuck in a bottle. I'm gonna take the lead, I suggest that you follow. Call me a hero, don't call me a role model. I'm in a fast lane, I'm going full throttle. I'm feeling like a ship jam stuck in a bottle. I'm gonna take the lead, I suggest that you follow. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here? I'm here for a reason. There's the food on the table. I like to get shut off. Can't afford cable. I take care of my baby. Homies and my family. But all my problems, they are here currently. What can I do? Try the best that I can. Like get another ticket. No, it's not in my plan. Sometimes I feel like I just want to give up. At the end, I brush it off. Just got to be tough. The undercover hero. Don't need any credit. I can't turn back now. I will regret it. Times are slow motion. My mind is thinking fast. I don't know how long the bad or good will last. That's just how it goes. Try to make it through another day. Try to get ahead rather than just maintain. The time will come when the evil will be conquered. But I keep pushing on. The truth will be heard. Call me a hero, don't call me a role model. I'm in a fast lane, I'm going full throttle. I'm feeling like a ship jam stuck in a bottle. I'm gonna take the lead, I suggest that you follow. Call me a hero, don't call me a role model. I'm in a fast lane, I'm going full throttle. I'm feeling like a ship jam stuck in a bottle. I'm gonna take the lead, I suggest that you follow.
I'm talking about the kind of city that idolizes a masked vigilante. Who needs heroes like you, elected officials, not a man who thinks he is above the law?
Exactly. All of us who stood by and let scum take control of our city.
But this is a democracy.
It wasn't considered an honor. It was considered a public service. Okay, fine. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Spotlight searching, but my balls burned out. With my mouth taped shut, it's kinda hard for me to shout. The system don't care, cause they got their own needs. Blinded by the revenue, their eyes are full of greed. And the government's got my freedom in the palm of their hand. And then they won't even listen. How can they understand doing what I do when I do this to survive? Just one number, just one life, fam.
Got a lovely day. A lovely day. Hey, tell everybody, tell Journey, say hello. No faking, y'all. That's what we do down here. Yes, King Shit to its stores everywhere. You already know it. Go buy it. And if you get the bread, go get the other 19. If you got your own show, you got your own business, you want to promote your music, whatever. What you say, Journey? Stretch.
I get one with him and Journey too. Yeah, they might come back. You want to come back in November or so, if not before. You're always welcome. You need to get your own show.
Huh?
You need to get your own show.
Hey, that's too true.
Not really. I do most of the work.
No,
All
I
you
want
gotta
to do
is
it.
talk.
Hey, I want to do his work. I want to go around and eavesdrop on
You
what he
got
got
enough on your
going on.
plate.
I got enough.
He see what's going on everywhere. Everywhere what's popping, I see Elliot there. Like, yeah, it must be serious with Elliot there. I'm on it. That's why I say, boy, I pay attention to everything, boy. I know a lot more than what you think I know, boy, about this game. Real talk.
Yeah.
Kev, I'll be shocking them when I can
My
speak
city,
the same
my
United
music.
States speed.
Yeah,
They don't
all
like
one word. Yeah, no
nigga
word.
with all gold teeth. He can't
Yes.
talk like that. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can talk the same finish y'all
It's just
talk. No faking.
We're on YouTube and it's on the website. Yeah, it should pop up. It just do like an ad.
That's why I be telling Justin, he
little
needs to show up
ad
in
sign.
TV more
My
often.
city, my
He
music.
don't know what's going on in his world. Justin, he don't know what's going on around St. Louis.
Yeah, I sent you the YouTube link too in your
I was
inbox.
telling you, you need to watch TV.
I sent you the YouTube link also in your inbox on Facebook.
What did you text it to me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
When will it be up on the there?
It's on now. It was live actually. So it's there now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we go live on YouTube and then so it saves that.
All right. I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, thanks. No, well, thanks for coming. I know you're well knowledgeable, so that's what we need. Knowledgeable, at least knowledgeable and passion. I mean, with passion, you care about it. I mean, otherwise, you want to do it. You can just sit home and go fishing every day.
That would be no fun.
Yeah,
Ain't no fun in
You
it.
gotta keep that.
I feel him. It ain't no fun in it. You got to do what you love to do.
Yeah.
Straight up.
This election is going to be different.
It most definitely
It's going to
is.
be interesting.
But I'm telling you, Ellie, he finna win again. Wesley, he finna win again. And I'm
I
telling
think
you,
so too.
and I don't even think it's gonna be close.
I endorsed Wesley.
I don't think it's gonna be close.
Yeah.
Real talk.
I endorsed Wesley.
I
said he deserves.
He most definitely do. Until he do something that I don't like, I'ma mess with him. For real.
Yeah, I think. I think he's going to pull through.
I think it's gonna be a blowout. I don't even think it's gonna be close this
It's
time.
going to be a blowout.
You don't think it's gonna be a blowout? Damn, I can't wait to see this one,
I think it'll
boy.
be pretty close.
Straight up. Just like the White Idleman in that eel. I think that's gonna be a blowout. People think it's gonna be like I said, I grew up there. That man did a lot for that county up there. I ain't gonna lie, that county is super grove, man.
Oh yeah.
I remember when Winsville had one high school, one elementary, and one middle school. Now my second home got 3 high schools, like 1 million middle school, and a ton of elementaries up there. I know about that place.
Oh, it's
Straight
grown.
up.
It has grown.
It's super grown.
But we'll see. We'll see how the people in St. Charles, because Elman is like he's like to the right of Trump.
He most definitely
But
is.
a lot of those people out there, that's what they
They are, yeah. You already know
Trump,
that.
That's Trump.
Country, Trump country. You ain't lying. You
All
ain't
right.
lying, though. You ain't lying, Elliot, on that one. You sure ain't lying. That's Trump country up there.
That's Trump country.
But you know what? I lived up there so many years, I really can't say nothing bad about it, man. I want to be able to say Elliot, they was racist to me up there. I want to be able to tell you that. But I can't even tell you that because I'll be lying.
I covered St. Charles a lot. When I was on television, I covered a lot. Elman. So I was at a good reception out there.
They always do reception.
Oh, yeah, man. And a lot of my viewers were in St. Charles.
Oh, they are. I know that's what they say. Straight up.